Chasing the best deals online? Let NordVPN protect you as you browse the internet. Go to nordvpn.com for a special deal. Install the app, connect, and enjoy secure and private browsing. Online security starts with a click.
Arsenal through to the quarterfinals, a 2-0 victory on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. Chelsea smashed 8-2, a whopping 8-2 by PSG. I actually felt PSG took their foot off the gas at the end out of respect as well. And 5-1 to Real Madrid, a 2-1 victory on the night, and another pounding, another heartbreaking night 4 times in the last 5 years. 4 times in the last 5 years, you have seen Real Madrid knock out Manchester City in the knockout phases of the Champions League. A lot to unpack tonight, a lot to talk about tonight as well across these games. Do me a favor, first of all, and hit the like button, please. If you haven't done so already, just get the like button hit now. Let's get this past 1,000 likes. It's very easy for you to get done. I also want to shout out our title sponsors tonight, NordVPN. You should not be on the internet without protection. Otherwise, fraudsters, scammers, Trojan horses, and all sorts will do to you what PSG just did to Chelsea. They'll slice you and dice you. They'll wind you up, grind you up, smash you up, bash you up. Can you hear the jingle jangle sound? Oh, yeah. They'll fraud you up, bruv. I was going into a Pete's Dragon song there, but get signed up to NordVPN tonight. Protect yourselves online at all costs. Shouldn't even be on the internet now without protection, and NordVPN will do that. Your personal data, your bank account details, they'll stop you from being phished. They'll stop you from being Trojan horsed, and all those other fraudster type emails, all those scammers out there. No princes will be emailing you asking to borrow money. You won't suddenly get an email saying you've won the Spanish lottery that you didn't enter. So get signed up now, people. Very, very, very important indeed. Now, look, as I say, is that Jermaine backstage? Jeez, I ain't seen my guy in a long time. Big up, bro. Hope you are well. Loads to talk about tonight. I'm actually going to start with a little bit of Chelsea. I have to, because tonight was one of the very biggest beatings. In fact, I think it might be the second biggest beating over 2 legs an English team has taken in the Champions League knockout phases. We know Arsenal's famous 10-2 to Bayern Munich. I think 5-1 Spurs lost to Real Madrid. I think 6-2 Liverpool got beat by Real Madrid back in 2003. But 8-2 is, I cannot believe, and if Chelsea fans want to educate me on this, let me know, a bigger defeat that Chelsea have ever suffered in the Champions League. It was humbling. It was embarrassing. It was pathetic. And I stand with their fans tonight. Their ownership have got to go. As much as Liam Rosenior is the manager, he shouldn't be there. I was very much on the fence with him when he came in. I think there may be a very good manager in there, but he's too young, too naive to work with this group of players. And it shows that, listen, that World Club Cup final, Chelsea played brilliant and they deserved it. But over these 2 legs, you have seen the true difference in quality shine through. And Chelsea tonight looked more like that Arsenal team back in 2017. They truly did. The game begun, how the last game ended. Poor defending. It was one long ball from the goalkeeper. A mistake from Saad. Kvaratskhelia puts it away. The counter-attack for Barcola's second goal just looked too easy. The third goal, it was like they were playing at a canter. They were toying with their food tonight, Paris Saint-Germain. And whether you love Chelsea, whether you hate Chelsea or anything else in between, that is wholly unacceptable at every level. It really is. And Chelsea have strived over the past 4 years to get back to this level, to play here again. And they are not ready for it. They are not ready for it. And Chelsea will always judge themselves, and rightfully so, about how well they do against the biggest and the best. And getting smashed 8-2 by PSG, a lot of work needs to be done at that club. And with Blueco saying nothing is going to change, with Blueco saying we're not going to buy the experienced players, we're not going to pay the wages they demand, You are not going to get much better than this. Maybe if you had an elite manager with more experience, less naive, it would help you. But I feel for Chelsea fans tonight. As embarrassing as that result is, as much of a joke can be made of it, absolutely horrific performance from them. I want to get your thoughts on it, though. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you're thinking. I want to talk City as well. My first thought on Man City tonight is about Pep Guardiola. Why was Pep Guardiola dressed like a 55-year-old retired skateboarder? That's what I didn't understand. Baggy trousers and a check shirt. What? Why was he dressed like that? He was dressed like Jonah Hill in Get Him to the Greek. I didn't understand it. Remember Jonah Hill in like Superbad? Why was Pep Guardiola dressed like that tonight? Weird. But listen, they create a lot of chances again tonight, Man City, even with 10 men. Poor finishing cost them. Bernardo Silva's ridiculous, stupid, dumb handball off the line. Yes, it would have been a goal if you let it go in, right? But you would have been in the same position as when the penalty went in, but 11v11. And maybe there was a chance of coming back, because I don't think Real Madrid are that good. A 10-man City created so many chances against them. But Pep, again, I just think him and his team, they look finished right now. Almost out of the Premier League title race, dumped out of the Champions League. They're not doing the quad, that's for sure. What a big weekend it's going to be now, because they've got to beat Arsenal. I know they're still in the FA Cup. Imagine in the space of 7 days, Pep and City go out of 3 tournaments. That means everything becomes about the FA Cup. Otherwise, it's 2 seasons in a row that Pep and his billions and his title-winning squad don't win a single trophy. And remember, 600 million spent in the last 12 months fixing that squad up. Put that into context. That is around 60% of what Arteta has spent in the last 6 years. Just to put it into context. Just to put that into context, it's a hell of a lot of money added to what is already a brilliant squad. But they weren't good enough tonight. Defensively, naive. They conceded a massive chance in the opening 2 minutes of the game. The Bernardo Silva handball, as I've mentioned. But even more agonizing for the City fans would have been the chance after chance after chance after chance after chance they missed. Absolutely horrendous. Haaland got a goal in the game, which is great, but the lack of clinical edge in that attacking line, people on that recruitment team need to lose their jobs, because what City have got is all these players that look technically brilliant. They pass the eye test, but when it comes to real football, scoring goals, putting the ball in the back of the net, there's not enough of those players in their team. Not good enough on every level. A lot of soul searching for Manchester City tonight. But let's talk some Arsenal, the only English team to actually win a game in the Champions League knockout stages so far. And Arsenal tonight were just back to their majestic best. 2-0, flatters by Leverkusen. Barring a late great save from David Raya to keep it at 2-0, Arsenal were about as good as I've seen them in the last 2 to 3 months. The possession, probably in the end, favoured by Leverkusen, because once it went to 2-0, Arsenal let Bayer Leverkusen have a lot of the ball. But Arsenal just didn't look troubled for me. Just 2 shots conceded on goal all night long, and one of those was that brilliant save from David Raya late. No big chances conceded in the game. It just felt like a team that knows it's up to win 4 competitions, knows they have massive games to come, that were playing in second gear, but with control, with ease. And if it hadn't have been a brilliant night for Baswich in goal for Bayer Leverkusen, it would have been a 4-5-0. He pulled off maybe 3 or 4 top-class saves in that first half, up until Eze, who, look, I think he started his life at Arsenal well. He then had a real down period in the middle of the season. And I still think a lot of that was due to the fact that he was in his late 20s, and he's never played this volume of football with this amount of pressure applied to it in his life. And he kind of became a little bit unstuck. He had some time on the bench, had some time on the sidelines, came back and had a few poor performances. But I would say in the last month to 6 weeks, you've really started to see the brilliance of Eze again. And the touch turn and the goal from him today in a Champions League knockout game was out of this world. And it was one of those matches where it had to be a screamer because Blažević was having such an amazing performance in goal. He was just stopping everything. Even when it deflected or ricocheted, it should fall to an Arsenal player and he gets there. And that touch turn and shot from Eze. Now, Arsenal fans can tell us this in the comment section. They can tell us this in the chats. One of the best Arsenal knockout Champions League goals that I have seen. And from that goal onwards, Arsenal then, for me, just toyed with Bayer Leverkusen. They let them have lots of the ball, and they were catching them on the counter-attack. And I think maybe the only area of criticism we may find Arsenal fans giving their team tonight is that they didn't score a third, a fourth, or a fifth in the game. But Declan Rice, who I thought, again, had another brilliant leader's performance in the middle of the park. And I thought there was some irony tonight as he's controlling that ball on his chest, taking it forward and hammering it into the bottom corner. There's his counterparts in different parts of Europe who are being dumped out after being smashed by teams that he narrowly lost to last year or himself dumped out of Europe the year before. A brilliant goal from him. And I felt when it went to 3-1, the game in itself was over. But Arsenal fans have been asking, at least on my platforms anyway, I can't speak for anybody else's, for a bit more of a performance, a bit more of a display. And I felt tonight Hincapié again at left back was just majestic. He was up against Poku, who's a very pacey, very difficult fullback stroke winger to handle. And I thought Hincapié today just had another absolutely stellar game. David Raya in goal. Not much to do in large periods, but when called upon, just pulled off 2 or 3 brilliant saves, commanding in the air when the crosses came in. Very much the same as Saliba and Gabriel ahead of them. Just defensively superior tonight. Declan Rice, I've already mentioned. Yes, he scores his goal, which was absolutely brilliant. But it was his overall game, his chance creations. He's, the amount of touches, I think 71 touches of the ball tonight. So involved in the game, 100% successful dribbles in the game, 50% of his crosses that were accurate. All of his long balls were accurate. And then when you look at his defensive contributions, 3 recoveries, 3 interceptions tonight, 2 clearances, a headed clearance in the game as well, multiple blocks. So huge defensive contributions when needed. Won all of his ground duels, won 2 out of his 3 aerial duels as well. He just had a majestic and top-class game. I thought Zubimendi next to him was equally as good tonight. Some really important interceptions as well. But Bukayo Saka had one of these very interesting nights where, again, he didn't get any goals or assists, but I still thought he was dangerous. He, created 5 chances again in the game. How he didn't get an assist, I don't know today. Had some very good shots saved as well. Just very, very, very influential indeed. I felt Trossard was very similar. Trossard did get an assist in the game, but I thought very, very similar on the left-hand side tonight. A constant threat and almost scoring, an absolute scorcher as well. A lot of the apps will have Gyökeres voted quite low in terms of his performance tonight, but I thought in the second half, he was really dangerous and he really got up by Leverkusen, and you could tell he was disappointed when he came off. Eze, we've already touched on, but Arsenal were in a really privileged position, and you saw this in around the 65th minute of the game, maybe a little bit later, with the mass substitutions made to rest their players ahead of what is going to be a big spectacle for Arsenal this Sunday, a chance to win their first trophy in 6 years, to maybe relieve a little bit of pressure in the other cup competitions. I don't think winning or losing the Carabao Cup final is going to change the outcome of the Premier League now. Arsenal are the clear favourites in that, which I actually think is going to make it easier for you to beat City this weekend, because you've almost got that in the bag unless you get complacent. I think winning it may help you to go further because the confidence levels go up. Maybe Cities get diminished even further. But today was just professional from Arsenal. A very good performance. Probably could have scored a few more goals, but overall just showing you the best team in England. You're one of the best teams in Europe. You go into that quarterfinal now against Sporting Lisbon. And when you compare it to what we've seen from Chelsea and Man City have played harder teams, especially Chelsea with Paris Saint-Germain. but the difference in quality between the two teams is night and day. And the thing is, I think you can all attack to a degree as well as each other. And the statistics and the facts show you this in terms of open play chances created, XG. City's probably the best of the three. The difference between the Chelseas and Cities and Arsenal is that Arsenal are just not ever as in danger as much of conceding goals when the opponents counter, when the opponents put the pressure on. There's been a handful of games this season where they haven't quite handled it that well. Sunderland away, Man United at home, to name a couple. But by and large, between Rice and Zubimendi, their fullbacks, today being Ben White and Nkapie, and their centre-backs, they're so hard to penetrate and break down. They have just got the balance right, Arsenal. And it doesn't make for the best spectacles for neutrals because there isn't enough goals being scored against them to make it entertaining for neutrals. But that is not Arsenal's problem. Arsenal's job is not to entertain me or any other rival. It's to win football matches. And they've done that impeccably again, in my personal opinion. They're one of the favourites to win this tournament. And I think they're going to get to the semi-finals. I think they'll beat Sporting Lisbon over 2 legs, if I'm being absolutely honest. But they just showed their difference today between the Chelseas and between the Manchester Cities. And it wasn't that long ago on the Football Terrace that we had a lot of Chelsea fans arguing that only a couple of Arsenal players get into their starting 11, that they're only a couple of centre-backs away from being at Arsenal's level. And yes, PSG knocked out Arsenal last year, but it wasn't an 8-2 mauling. It was, and by the way, I don't think PSG are as good this season as they were last year. Now, there's things to criticize Arsenal about. I criticize them. Their own fans criticize them. There are things they could do better. I still think today, as brilliant as I thought they were, they could have scored some more goals. But there is a gulf between them and every single other English club at the moment, barring Man United under Carrick. I'm being shameless. Right, I'm being shameless. And they demonstrated that this evening. And the one thing the Chelseas and the Man Cities have got to look at when it comes to Arsenal is how do we stop ourselves being so leaky and so vulnerable when we're attacking against very good attacking sides. That's something that Chelsea and City have just not been good enough at doing this season. And had it not been, not just in tonight's games, but brilliant displays from the Donnarummas and the Rob Sanchez's this season, they would have conceded so many more goals, especially from City's point of view, and been in a worse position. And you can't rely, of course you can rely on your goalkeeper to make saves, not to that degree. Well done to Arsenal tonight. Commiserations to Man City and to Chelsea. But I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this in our comments section below. Excuse me. And as I said earlier, a big shout out to our title sponsors, NordVPN. Yes, you should be protecting yourself online, but on top of that, so I need a sip of water. Still getting over this cold. It's been an hard one. It's been a proper head cold. It's all been in my head. You can also change your geolocation and get access to sport everywhere with Setanta Sport. I use this every single Champions League night, every single Premier League weekend, especially for the 3 p.m. games. And for $3.99 a month, find Setanta Sport on your app store or your equivalent on your device. Use NordVPN to be in Moldova, Georgia, or the Ukraine, and sign up to Setanta Sports right now. It's not illegal. It isn't dodgy streaming. It isn't a dodgy Fire Stick. It's purely using your geolocations on NordVPN now. So get yourself signed up. Scan that QR code that's on the screen there. It does support the Football Terrace as well when you interact with our partners. And as you know, we've been working with NordVPN for the better part of 4 years now. That showed you how much I have trust in them. And I use them. They're on my phone as well. Keeps you protected. Most important thing is privacy for me. I do a little bit of late night internet like browsing, and I just like the privacy of doing so. Because I don't want everybody knowing what I buy on Amazon. That's what I do late at night. Amazon shopping is what I do. Let's go to some of your comments before we go to the calls here. I'm just going to timestamp when we're doing this so you guys can come back and see the playback. Robert here says, in one week, out of the Champions League, out of the Prem race, we'll lose the Carabao Cup final. Pep is finished. Boovy was throwing rants at Chelsea. Focus on yourself, City. Yeah, City fans have got no room to talk tonight when it comes to Chelsea, I would say. But that's just me. Thank you, Luke, for encouraging everybody to hit the like button. Jojo says Chelsea are the new Arsenal. Lol, 8-2. Yeah, I think it's the second biggest defeat ever by an English club in the knockout phases of the Champions League. Hold that, Chelsea. Long live clear 8. It's quite a good pun. Maybe if England's English rivals focused on defence instead of just mocking Arsenal, they would still be in the competition. Just a thought. Don't mention Pep with the GOAT Tony Hawk. Yeah, but I mean this question. Why was Pep dressed like a retired skateboarder tonight? It was very weird. Listen, sometimes he looks slick, but tonight, I almost find it disrespectful when people dress that casually for a Champions League knockout game. I find it disrespectful. Man City, bottled Tada, Sporting, Real Madrid, Romontada. Sporting did well good tonight, although I thought their penalty was a little harsh on Bodo. I'm an Arsenal fan, Terry, and after tonight, I'm still nervous, though we still have 4 opportunities to win silverware. Am I mad? By the way, love the shows. You're not mad to feel nervous because it means that you care, but I would honestly just keep telling you to enjoy it. Enjoy being in those situations as opposed to fearful that you might not get your hands on the trophy, because you can win them. That's better than being in these. Man United haven't done that well in the Champions League in the last 10 or so years. But I tell you, nearly other than when we beat PSG, I've never really fancied us against any of the teams we've played in the knockout phase. You fancy yourselves, so enjoy that, knowing that you can win. Even when we won the FA Cup against City, I didn't go into that game. I thought we'd win based on a few factors, but I went into it petrified because we weren't a very good team. Arsenal were a brilliant team, so enjoy it, mate. Try and enjoy it because football can change very quickly. Knocking out Madrid in the Champions League is not for everyone. Come on, you gooners. Can't wait for their empty-had aquarium to open. You just know that some weirdos out there obviously steaming over the Eze nonchalant celebration. Let them, bruv. Just let them. Let them. Thoughts on Gyökeres's best performance? Yeah, look, I thought he was quite quiet in the first half, personally, but in the second half, I thought he was excellent. And I know why he came off, because obviously you got a big final on Sunday, but yeah, he looked very, very good indeed. And I think in the Champions League, I think in games in general, where Gyökeres has looked his best is when you're leading by a goal or two and the game opens up a little bit. You just see the best of him in those moments. Gyökeres could have had 2 assists today. Yeah, he could have done. Played very, very well. Tell it's just come out that the AFCON results have been overturned and it's now Morocco who has won it. What? Fuck off. What, are they saying that because of the leaving the pitch thing? Oh, shit. Now, I can't. Hang on. In other news, CAF blows down corruption. AFCON result reverted. Morocco to get the trophy because Senegal had forfeited. Scandalous. Do you know what? Can I just... I don't want to hijack the show tonight and this. My first thoughts are, you can't do that because you gave them the trophy. My view was, once they left the pitch, they shouldn't have been allowed to restart the game. That was they'd already forfeited, but then they let them play. Wow. We'll be chatting on that tomorrow on the terrace. I'm not going to talk about it tonight because too many other things, but that's crazy. Great goals tonight. Still playing with our food at times. Saka needs to learn to shoot a cross goal with his right foot. Poor shot selection all season. Yeah, I think people have worked out the cutting into his left foot. He's got to work on something new. Playing 70-plus minutes with 19 could be another slender advantage in a final. This team is so solid. Come on, you Gooners. So much for the Chelsea Euro prestige. Come on, you Gooners. Rob Lad here says, remember, peeps, according to Don, the only difference between Arsenal and Chelsea is the centre-backs, and that's only because Fofana is injured. In fairness, Don has run that back a long way and doesn't believe that anymore. Breaking news, Senegal stripped of the AFCON title. Damn, that's crazy. I wonder why it's taken them so long. Evening, Terry and everyone. Please sign up to the VPN. I was hacked in October and multiple accounts were opened under my name without my permission and had to change my email and my bank account. Be honest with you, NordVPN, it's not something that we work with them with, but they also sell a protection now, an insurance. And I can tell you this, having worked in the banking industry, the amount of people that had their identity stolen and like bad credit taken out in their name, it isn't as easy as just proving it wasn't you. That stuff can follow you around for years. And then you have to go to court and it costs you money to remove all this stuff from your name. It is so dangerous to not have protection when you're online. That isn't me just spend half an hour of your time researching people's identity being stolen and the bad things that happen with it. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And banks now, and I know this because it was my old department, I used to run the biggest complaints team in the country. And people get their money back a lot easier now than they used to. However, it can still leave you in destitute situations in the short to medium term. So protect yourself, please, people. It's very, very important indeed. Chelsea are the new Arsenal. Would be happy to get top 4 in the league, would be ecstatic with the cup, will be dumpstered in the Champions League under the current regime. I hear where you're coming from. Terry, having seen Arsenal so far this season, what are your predictions on what, if any, trophies Arsenal will win? I think you win the Premier League. I think you win the Carabao Cup. I think you'll go out of the FA Cup. Not this round, but I think you might go out in the semi-finals because I just feel at some point something's going to give. And then Champions League, I think you're gonna make the final, but I don't know who you're gonna get, so it's hard to predict because I actually think you're better off with PSG because I think PSG or Bayern are going to be in the semi-final. I think you're better off against PSG this season than Bayern Munich. I know you beat them already at home, but I just think PSG are your best bet. But we'll see. Off topic, did you see the Senegal strips? Yeah, a lot of people have said in the chat, my friend. It's crazy, crazy news indeed. Now, what will City's mentality be for the League Cup? Look, I mean, it could be good for them. They could be like a caged animal, and a cornered animal or a caged animal can be very, very dangerous. At the same time, if they're licking their wounds, if Pep turns up to Wembley dressed like he dressed like my Auntie Julie. Oh, can I tell you what my Auntie Julie is, or I'll get cancelled? Julie, can I tell him? I wish he was here to ask. I had to ask my Auntie Julie. Has very short hair, and she wears check shirts and like combat trousers. And she used to wear like a chain from her pocket to her back pocket. I'm getting at something here. Big up, Jules. When we were kids, we used to call her Captain Caveman. Love my auntie, man. She's great. She's great. Chelsea's new sponsor next season, 888 Casino. Bayern are going to feast on Madrid. Wasn't good. Bayern Munich are going to smash them. They're not very good, Real Madrid. They're really not that good. I completely and utterly concur. Right, we're going to go to the calls. Who we got coming on? We've got the panel coming later. I'm going to let you know the panel is now. We've got David, we've got Anton, we've got Dio, we've got Anita. Anita's coming on. You know things are bad when Anita's coming out of retirement, you know. And Jermaine is going to be on. Sorry, my cold's giving me jip. We're going to be taking calls from Winter Surfer, Shannon, Kwess, Kel, Brandon, and Saad will be on with us. So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to get through tonight. Lots of calls to jump onto. Kwess is going to be on with me first on the show right now. Have I updated the overlay? I have. There it is. Kwess is here with me now. Welcome, bro. Commiserations on the defeat tonight, but 8-2 over 2 legs. What's going through your mind right now, mate?
You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah. Calm. To be honest, it was lost in the first leg, so I'm not too stressed tonight. I think that's probably how most Chelsea fans feel, is like it's gone in the first leg, so could have had a better performance tonight. I thought, to be honest, once we'd taken off the rest of the players in the game and slowed down, it's actually a bit more of an enjoyable game because we were getting a couple more chances. But honestly, me personally, hey man, it's a dark time right now. You got to ride it out. If you support the club, then you got to be able to say, look, when it's dark hey, we keep supporting the club. You know, we keep hoping things improve, and we know obviously where things need to improve. And I think, to be honest, like, you know, a lot of people are saying the model won't change. I don't think it will change drastically, but I do think any owner will feel a result like that today, and they will go, we probably need to tweak a few things. So I think we'll probably see a couple different signings in the summer. Because I think, to be honest with you, the most damning thing is not even necessarily, I always say this, right? Like, for me, the quality issue, the quality thing, I don't like to lean on. I don't like to lean on the idea that, like, we've not got quality. I think that's just silly. The quality is clearly there. I think there's just bigger things with just mentality of the players, just not understanding what is needed. Like I was saying in the group chat, just that third goal, there's a link up between Delap and Santos. Delap essentially gives the ball away and then doesn't track back. Neither does Neto, and then Lavia's position. And that only happens when I think the players don't understand the assignment. So for me, they're probably going to have to do a little bit more work in terms of finding players that fit the mentality of the club. Now, whether they fully go after that, I don't know. But that's the hope. That's the hope. So, yeah, listen, we lost to essentially what is, to be fair, the second best team in the world, shameless or unshameless. Yeah. So shout out to PSG. They were as ruthless today as they were all of last season in Champions League. So I'm kind of not surprised by their dominance in the game, because, like, that's just PSG. This is what I saw from them last year. This is why I said, like, at the start of the season, they've just got the best squad and best team for me. They just do things that other teams are just not doing. Like, they almost play like the prime Barca of 2011. So yeah, man, bit disappointing, but we move. FA Cup still to play for, Champions League still to play for. From the start of the season, I said, listen, my goal is top 4, top 5, win a trophy. We still got that to go. So there should be, for me at least, no crying, no complaining, man.
Do you understand the calls tonight from a lot of Chelsea fans for Blue Co to go, in the sense of, because they've said they're not changing the model, because they've said they're not changing the wage structure, a lot of Chelsea fans essentially are saying, well, there's no way we're going to improve because we're never going to pay the money to bring in the Kvaratskhelia. We're not going to pay the money to sign the Declan Rices or the stars that are going to make you as good as these teams. Is that a concern for you, or do you understand where these fans are coming from?
No, I understand, to be fair. I understand it. But I do think a little bit is short-sighted, just in the sense of, like, when Blue Co came in, obviously there was a clear like understanding that they're not going anywhere for a number of years. Like, that's fact. So whether you want them out or in, it doesn't really matter. They're not going anywhere for a number of years. And I tell you now, if the club is tanking, they're not going to sell with no profit on their investment, or at least breaking even. Like, that's not going to happen. So for me, that's why I'm not, like, letting all my emotions run to get the owners out. They do need to improve, and I would think that they would want to improve. However, like, just let it be known as well, yeah, that when Lampard was first in charge, right, under Abramovich, yeah, he was actually calling for Declan Rice. He was actually calling for Bellingham. He was actually calling for Haaland. There's a number of reports that say he was calling for certain players that we didn't sign. And actually, there's, you know, being a Chelsea fan, there was a number of years where we were signing duds. So again, I'm not going to go nuclear on this approach. I think there's bigger issues with some of these players than the approach or the quality of the signings. Like, again, like I said, the Lap not tracking back, Lavia not being in position, Neto not tracking back. This is not player quality issues. This is just understanding of the game and desire and work rate. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. And maybe that's the bigger thing. So if they are going to sign players, I don't necessarily care if you go and sign 15 championship players, as long as they want to work hard and give it all for the club. If you don't want to give all for the club and work hard, yeah, get gone. But again, I'd rather have 15 average boys than have 150 top quality, because I know they're going to run and give everything. So that's the hope anyway.
I hear that, bro. No, I understand where you're coming from. Listen, man, I know it's a shitty night, but I appreciate you coming on and giving us your thoughts this evening, bro. And we'll chat again soon, brother.
Love.
Top man. Thank you very much, Kwess. Saad is on with us next. What you saying, bro? Big win for you guys tonight.
Big up.
Loving the Garms as well, fella.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Firstly, I just want to say, hold that Senegal, yeah? I know you said you weren't going to bring it up, but as a fellow Moroccan, I need to bring it up, yeah? They can hold that. You leave a pitch, you pussy out of that game, this is what you get. This is what you get. They strip it of you. Now, technically, I agree with you. I don't know why they've done it now when they've already given them the trophy. I feel like stuff like this should be just, you know what I mean, move on. But listen, at the end of the day, the right decision came in the end, and they should have been forfeited anyway when they left the pitch. Now, getting to the Arsenal game, I just want to cover a lot of the different games, but I just want to speak about the Arsenal game first. I actually missed the first half because I was praying, but I came for the second half. And the first half, I've seen the Eze goal, yeah, and the absolute guile to get the ball, turn around and just slap it into the back of the net like that is absolutely insane. And then going into that second half, we just controlled it, kept the intensity up. There was a lot more space in behind because you could see that Bayern Munich were really moving forward, trying to get forward, trying to score a goal. The pressure was on them now, and they had a bit more of the possession and we're trying to go for it, and that left us a lot of space in behind. And I think that's why you probably say that Gyökeres looked much better in the second half, because he thrives in those moments where a team is chasing the game and a team is trying to attack you. That's where Gyökeres thrives, because there's space in behind where he can run into, and he has plenty of channels that he can run into. The left channel, down the middle. Do you know what I mean? He's got plenty of areas that he can run into, but. Yeah, man. Listen, second goal from Declan Rice was absolutely world class. What a finish! Listen, since he's come to Arsenal, he has improved. His striking of the ball, his attacking sense has improved tenfold, and you just have to applaud it. And yeah, it's a good win for us going into the next stage, the quarterfinals. Up against Sporting, which I do think will beat them, but it's not going to be as easy, I think, as I think people are claiming. Listen, Bayer Leverkusen did surprise us as well, because they did play a solid game throughout the two legs. They did do well defensively, you know what I mean, and their goalkeeper saved them out a lot. But yeah, Manchester City. Listen, Vinicius Jr. with the crying celebration. That is what I love. Yeah, this is what I love, is that crying celebration. And the thing is, yeah, these Man City fans are now going to come out and scream corruption and scream that they got Bernardo Silva got given an unnecessary penalty, this and this and that. But listen, at the end of the day, bro, you guys can't talk about corruption. You guys can't talk about corruption. If we've seen what you man have done, we've seen what's happened in the past. You man can't talk about corruption. Otherwise, we have to speak about a couple of league titles. We have to speak about a couple of league titles. You man have robbed people blind. Rodri, I'm talking about you. Yeah, we don't forget the Everton. But yeah, listen, it was a feat that was not going to be broken. I'm so happy that I'm not going to have to see this weird Twitter trend. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, this whole sunglasses thing and 3-1 down there.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Finals and they're trying to do the free. It's so cringe. They call us cringe. Yeah, that was cringe from Man City fans. And Chelsea, I'll just wait off it now. I'm sorry, but their fans needed this kind of this wake up call to understand how far from the top they truly are. Because to be honest, I'm not going to completely go in on them, because even we got a bit demolished at times with the goals last year, but nothing near this. PSG looked so comfortable. They looked so comfortable, and it was scary and alarming how comfortable they looked against Chelsea, who, if you ask a lot of these Chelsea fans, they will tell you that their team they're up there, and they'll tell you that they can compete with these big boys and they can compete in the Champions League. And this, I don't think they can. I think they really need to go back to the drawing board. And at the end of the day, it stems from the ownership. The ownership is the massive problem. They're going to ruin that club. They're going to completely ruin it, and I stand by that. They're probably I wouldn't say they're the worst owners, but they're really bad owners. So yeah, but it was an impossible feat for them as well. But yeah, a brilliant night for USCL football. I'm so happy and appreciate it for allowing me to talk, Tel.
No worries, brother. Thank you very much for coming on, my man.
Big up to your auntie Julie, yeah. Big up to your auntie Julie. This guy, bro. This guy's lethal, bro.
She lived a good life with her friend Leslie. They had a great life. They did.
Oh, you joker.
Speak soon, brother. Speak soon.
Man. Take care.
Next on the show, people, we have Man City fan Kel. Thank you for joining us. Commiserations on the. Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. I was not listening to the Arsenal guy.
No worries. Commiserations on the defeat tonight. What's your thoughts on the game? Because you started fairly well from an attacking perspective. Silva gets himself sent off, and then it was all she wrote, really. What's going through your mind right now after that game?
I'm pretty blasé right now. I had my anger. I got it out of my system after leg one. Leg one is where the tie was lost completely. I didn't have a lot of expectations going into it, but I actually thought we played well. It wasn't just when we had 11 men. I thought we still played well with 10 men up until about the last 10 or so minutes of the game. Then it just kind of fell apart. But I built this club around Ryan Cherki and Husanov and Ait Nori. I thought they were all great today. So, I really didn't have any hope for this game. So I'm disappointed to fail again in the Champions League because we've kind of stumbled, since winning it, we've really struggled to get back to the levels I think that we can be at. But I guess that's just part of this process that we're going through right now. And it's frustrating. I think we're a better team than what we showed in leg one. We're a better team today. It just sucks because I think we started that game very well. We were building momentum. We were creating chances. And then Bernardo Silva decided to just end the tie himself. I've been very hard on him this year. And I guess his play has improved a little bit. But I think this is probably his last Champions League game for the club. I think he needs to move on at the end of the season. It's just time to rebuild the team. And he's in the way. He's one of Pep's favorites and he plays too much. I don't think he was offering very much in the game because I didn't notice that he was gone when we were down to 10 men. I was like, I thought we were actually playing a little faster. We weren't just passing the ball backwards. I thank you for the memories, Bernardo Silva. You've been one of my favorite players, but the past 2 seasons have just not been good enough. And I think it's time to move on and just a poor way to kind of exit the Champions League. That's going to be our last memory of him in the Champions League.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. I actually think you would have come back tonight. I think there was a great chance. If you look at the abundance of opportunities you had, even with 10 men, even if you let that goal go in, even if he doesn't, just lets it go in because he can't get to it, even at 4-0, but Real Madrid concedes so many opportunities. The game wasn't over. It was such a harebrained thing to do because even from an excitement point of view, it kills the idea you can come back because it's 10v11, if that makes sense. And it was just, from a neutral perspective on the night, as neutral as I can be, it killed the spectacle of it because I really felt 5-10 minutes in, I thought, there's an opportunity if you could get an early goal. And then Bernardo Silva does that. It was crazy. But I also think looking at the starting lineup tonight, you look at the likes of Cherki, why in God's green earth wasn't he playing the week before? I mean, the tie was really lost in that first leg with Pep's poor team selection. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's been kind of a thing since the year turned into 2026. Pep has just been making very poor decisions. Turkey's been on the bench for a while. It hasn't just been the game against Real Madrid. He was on the game against. He was on the bench against West Ham. He was on the bench against Forest. Like a lot of these games, just since it's been like February, Marchish, a little even in January, Turkey's just found himself in the doghouse. Foden has found himself in the doghouse. I don't get it because I think we were playing our best football when Phil Foden and Cherki were playing together in the middle. But Pep has just changed the approach. I don't know if something spooked him earlier in the season and he just wants to go this full control midfield, but our attack is suffering because of it. We don't create chances right now. Like, I'm sorry, that midfield of Bernardo, Rodri, and Nico O'Reilly is not balanced. People keep telling me it is in my fan base. It's not balanced. It's not creating chances. So you push it out to the wings, and neither of the wingers are creating chances. So there's literally no chance creation going on. We have Ryan Cherki, I think he's our best creator on our team right now. That doesn't mean I think he's Kevin De Bruyne. Some people have had running this narrative that when you say that he's our best creator, that you automatically are assuming he's Kevin De Bruyne. He's not, but he's still the best that we have. It's like, and also, Nico Gonzalez hasn't been playing either. And I thought we played some of our best ball when he was a 6. But obviously, he's not going to start over Rodri. I've been crying all season and played Rodri and Nico G together because I think that actually addresses a big hole that we still have, which is off ball in the midfield. The defense is terrible. And we saw Real Madrid exploit that in the first leg. Rodri's by himself. He couldn't cover the ground by himself because he's coming off an ACL and there's no support for him. So that's been frustrating to me. I say build the team around Ryan Cherki. I think I said it 2 seconds ago, but Ryan Cherki, I think, has the talent to become an elite player. He's still growing and developing and learning, and I think he's improved since we got him. But I love the guy. I love watching him play. He's the kind of player who gets me off my seat. But Pep seems to just not want to play him, and it's just a lot of questionable decisions from Pep lately. Like this first leg, he played Antoine Semenyo as a 10. Don't get me started on that. I won't bring it up.
No, listen, I would not converse with people that go when you say Cherki's the best creator. What do you think is KDB? You may never have another KDB in your lifetimes. He was that good a player for you. Those types of comparisons are by dullards, and you're not a dullard, Kel. Look, I appreciate you coming on. Commiserations on going out tonight. I mean, I'm happy, but commiserations to you. And we'll chat again, I'm sure, on Sunday after the fight. How are you feeling ahead of the final now? Because I probably won't speak to you before then.
The past couple of games have shattered all of my confidence for that final. I think the bizarre lineup decisions that Pep has been doing just took away any confidence I had. And Pep in his past 3 finals has not done very well, so I'm a little nervous about what he's going to do. I think the only thing that I can be guaranteed is that he's going to start Diaz and Husanov at center back, and I do feel better about that because Mark Gahey isn't eligible as he wasn't on the squad in time. So he can't play and Semenyo can't play. So having those players kind of out of his hand, which I think he's been kind of forcing them into the lineup, which I get because they're new players. But Gahey's had a couple of shaky games. And even tonight, I think that goal was on him. Some people will blame Donnarumma, but I think Gahey was very poor on that goal that won the game for Real Madrid right at the end there. So him not playing, I trust Diaz in that game, and I just love what I'm seeing from Husanov. Like I said, I love Husanov. I think he's our best defender right now with Joško being out, and I hope next season to see Joško Vardiol and Husanov as a center back pairing. I know it won't happen, but that's what I've observed. But we'll see. Maybe Arteta will get nervous in the final. I don't know, because he hasn't been in a final in 5 or 6 years. We know what he's going to do. He's going to have to play his same lineup. I just don't know what Pep's going to do. So I will call it a 50-50. No
worries. Listen, Kel, thank you for coming on. I appreciate that massively. We'll chat again soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Bye.
See you later. Take care, Kel. Thank you. Next up, Shannon is here with us. What are you saying, brother?
Hey, bro. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Big and important win for Arsenal tonight. How you feeling, mate?
Oh, good, bro. I think that was a very, very confident and assured performance from the boys, especially ahead of a final. I think it wasn't too basketball-like. It was very controlled. I think we dominated that first half. Should have probably had a couple of goals in the first half. I think second half we eased off a bit, let Leverkusen have possession and tried to play on the break. And I think that worked well. I think 2 great goals. Some rotations from Arteta, some players getting some minutes ahead of the final. I think, all is good so far. I think looking at our result tonight, comparing it to City's and the confidence that they will be having, it's gonna be interesting going into this weekend's game, because you would expect Arsenal to now be on this up and be more vibrant, but it's the final, so it just makes it a little bit more tricky. Just touching off what you spoke to the last caller about, where my confidence is there. I'm just not, because it's the final, I'm not 100% sure how I feel just yet.
Yeah, sorry, you cut off a little bit there. I get where you're coming from. What did you make of the display tonight from Eze? He's a player that's had a lot of stick this season from rivals and from some Arsenal fans, and he's been coming up with some really big moments recently. But tonight, in a big Champions League knockout game, he really delivered for the Gunners.
Look, bro, I mean, people forget that this is also his first season at the club. He might have moved within the league, but he's moved up a level. It's his debut season in the Champions League, and everyone talks about the run in Eze or the summertime Eze, where he comes alive from March until the end of the season. I think we've seen that evidently since the Tottenham game. I think he's really stepped up his performances. One thing that I will give him credit for is his out of position play. He looks much more comfortable in knowing when to press and where to press. And I think that's one of the things that Arteta probably did with him when he took him out of the team when he made the mistake against Villa. Probably took him out, just said to him, assess and watch how the players are playing out of position, and this is what I need from you. And I think since the Spurs game, I think Eze has been one of our most informed players. And I think tonight's goal is just a testament to the maverick of player that he is. I don't know how many players in our team get that ball on the half turn and hit it first time. I don't think we've got many players in the team that can do that. And I think that's something that I heard on a podcast earlier, where it's like, when you're going into this final stretch of the season, you're gonna need maverick moments. You're gonna need your players that have won trophies, that have been there at the back end of seasons, like your Gyökeres, your Eze, your Nkappies. Those three players over the last couple of weeks have really stepped up. So, and I think, just touching back on Eze, I'm very happy with his performances. Yes, the goal was great, but what I'm seeing from him out of possession is what's really impressing me the most.
I hear that, man. And look, a big week ahead for you now. How confident are you going into that final on Sunday versus City?
Look, Tal, it's a final, so I don't think you can ever be overly confident, because final, anything can happen. But I do think we'll get the win, and that's not me saying we're gonna go and walk over City. I just think that when there's that feeling you have when it's your time, like you just know, you can just feel it. We might not win 3-0, we might scrape a 2-1 victory, but I still think we'll win this final, because I just think we are the better team now. City's last couple of results, both League and Champions League, have not been great. The performances have not been great. We're if you look at our results and the games we've played, I mean, we've played Spurs, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, and won 12 points out of 12. Comfortably beaten Leverkusen tonight, into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. So I think, as a team, as a fan base, I think we are on a high, and we just need to take that and use it to our advantage on the weekend. City will be hurt, like you said. They might be a cage animal. They will obviously try their best to try and win the game. But I do think our overall quality, both in the starting 11 and on the bench, is what I think gets us over the line on Sunday.
Mate, very much good do. Shannon, thank you for coming on, mate. It's good to see you again, bro. We'll chat again soon.
Okay,
cheers,
cool.
mate. Thank you, Shannon. Up next on the show, we have Kojo, Chelsea fan. What you saying, brother?
Broski, what's good, man? Hold on. My camera is the wrong way around, isn't it? You're going to see yourself in a second. Oh. Hey, yes, bro. How we doing, bro?
I'm all right. I enjoyed the football tonight, but obviously as a Chelsea fan, a painful night for you guys. 8-2 on aggregate, 3-0 on the night. What's going through your mind right now when you look at Racine on the sidelines, the stuff your owners have said in the last few days, lots of bad results in the last 5 to 6 weeks, going out the semi-final, the draws to the relegation teams, the beating in the Champions League. What's going through your mind right now as a Chelsea fan, bro?
If I'm honest with you, bro, it's almost like, when you have a kid and the kid has done something really, really bad and they know they've done something really, really bad. As a parent, at that point, you're like, I don't want to even blast you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you done bad. You're looking straight and down. You've done something wrong. I don't want to add to the agony that you're feeling right now. That's how I feel about Chelsea right now, right? I watched the whole game, and I sat through it, and I have to be fair. I might sound mad. We got spanked over the two legs, right? In terms of the scoreline. But you know what? For me personally, maybe I'm a bit more of an optimistic kind of person. Mistakes is what cost us, and so for me personally, when I watched the game all the way through, I was also small proud of them. I was proud of them because I know they were trying their best as possible. Like, I didn't see them down the tools. I didn't see them just give up. But I understood that it got to a point where PSG were just clinical. I mean, 3 of the goals that they scored the first one is very much avoidable. The second and third one were clinical finishes. When you're having a bad day at the office and you meet somebody who's just on point and they're scoring goals from the edge of the box and it's going top corner, at that point, they're being clinical. It's not just that they were good, they were clinical, and that's different. And I can see how, I was stressed for the boys. For me personally, I was stressed for them. They weren't good enough. Right. And that's more painful than losing a game and being close. When you realize that there's a gulf between you and the other team, that's even more painful. You know what I'm saying to you? So for me personally, I don't want to lambast these boys anymore than I'm sure other people want to. What I want to say is I think that hopefully the owners see this, because I know they're not going nowhere. I hope they see this and adjust the model. You know what I'm saying to you? Adjust the model, because you've got some great players in there. You need tweaks. You need 1 or 2 good, experienced players to come in and help some of these great star young boys to become even better. You know what I'm saying to you? Otherwise, what you're going to find is they are going to be a top 4 side and they're going to struggle to win a league or a Champions League because they lack the ability to be able to finish off a game. The difference between us and PSG literally was the mistakes. And to be honest, that's been all season for Chelsea. So nothing's really different. I'm not even mad at the boys. I know some people are going to probably come on here and they want to cuss Chelsea out, cuss out the owners, and it makes great content. But at some point, you get to the point, it's like, bro, sometimes you're just not good enough. And that's painful.
Yeah, I think mistakes are a big part. I also feel, I heard the commentators say it, so I'm not going to plagiarize off them. You had a lot of shots in the last 2 games.
We did.
You just need better finishers. Like João Pedro had a good season, so you give him a pass. But you look at, I mean, I know you were already 8-2 down, but Garnacho must have been in 6 or 7 great goal-scoring positions, doesn't take any of them. The Lap all season doesn't score enough goals. Neto doesn't score enough goals. And I think that's something where the model, as you say, needs to be adjusted, because you need to be going out there and getting your Kvaratskhelia, your Dembélés. You have to go out there, and unless you've got a team, Arsenal don't have any one striker that's scoring loads of goals, but they have a team where the goals are just here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys don't have that or any prolific goal scorers, and you need that. And that's only really, in an ideal world, in a normal world, going to be by going out and buying an Ocean, going out and buying a bit more maturity, proven quality at the highest level that can come in and go, I'll get you 20 goals. A winger that can go, I'll get you 15 goals. And if you do that, you will go up a level. But as you say, if they don't adjust this model, that's, I think, the painful thing for a lot of Chelsea fans who are just in this space where they're going, we can all see what's needed to go to the next stage, and your owners are very publicly saying they're not going to do it. I get why they're angry. I get the anger as well. I know that that's not you as a person, and I can respect that, but I do get it from both sides.
No, and I think my final sentence says, I mean, I get it. My thing is, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about how do we improve and how do we get to that next stage, right? Because I can waste all my energy screaming and shouting, right? And you can say blue coat out all you want. You know, I've been seeing you, Terry. This has been the argument you've had for years with Man United, right? But the reality of the situation is, I understand that these people ain't going nowhere for a good few amount of years, right? And they've put a good amount of money into the team. So this is not a small amount of investment. This is not they put a couple 100 million for the thing. They've put in a billion. So this is a real investment. There needs to be some level of adjustment. That's all it requires. And this team can go from being a C squad team to an A squad team. So yes, we got pepped, got beaten. Listen, I said it in a group chat. Hey, at one point, Barcelona got beaten 8-2 by Bayern Munich. And when you get beat like that, you have to review what happened and you go back to drawing board and say, okay, there's things that we need to change. So that's all. I'm not going to be mad at it and stay mad at it. You know what I'm saying to you? I want to see how we can progress. And shout out to Arsenal. I hope you don't win the Champions League. Not because I don't like you, but you're my rival and I need to banter you, and I can't banter you when you win the Champions League finally. You know what I'm saying? You win the league we want, but if you can't win the Champions League, we can always be the best team in England. You know what I mean? In London. So
London.
Well done to them as well. London, yeah.
Kojo, mate. We'll chat again soon, brother. Top man for coming on. Thank you, bruv.
Love.
Cheers, brother. Thank you. Brandon is like, this is the big question. We're like, is Brandon going to be happy today, or what's he going to moan about? That's going to be the big question today. Brandon. Pep was dressed like a skateboarder today. Brandon, a big win for the Gunners tonight. You're through to another Champions League quarter final, a clean sheet, 2 absolute weldy goals. You must be in a good mood tonight.
Someone said remontada, Tel. Someone said remontada. Pep said, no, I'm going out with the OAPs after the game. I'm going to meet Tony Hawk. Do you know what I mean? Oh, dear.
It's like he's about to be in the new, what's that program called? What was it called? They did silly stunts. Jackass. Looks like he dressed for the Jackass movie. You know that grungers when we were younger used to dress? You would dress like a grunger. He's dressed like a grunger for a Champions League game. Mad. But Brandon, Arsenal tonight did enough, defended well, scored 2 worldies. What's going through your mind right now as an Arsenal fan?
I am now pumped for the final on Sunday. I can't lie, Tel. We've been stinking our way through a lot of games, and I was desperate for a performance. And tonight we got a performance. That was probably one of the best attacking displays that I've seen from Arsenal this season. If I'm being honest, we was very unfortunate not to get more goals, to be honest with you. But I think their goalkeeper was just brilliant tonight. I really do think he was. But from an attacking standpoint, yeah, definitely one of the best that I've seen from Arsenal this season. I thought he was really fluid. The intensity was there. The quality was there as well. Like I say, Trossard probably could have had a hat-trick if it weren't for their goalkeeper. I thought he played really well tonight. Victor Gyökeres, best performance I've seen him have in an Arsenal shirt all round. I thought he worked really, really hard off the ball, was very good on the ball as well. He held the ball up really well. He showed a bit of tech tonight. The cross that he put in for Bukayo Saka, where we had disallowed goal on his weaker foot as well, was very good. He looks up for it. He looks really up for it. Saka, I still don't think he's quite at the races, but you know, everybody else is performing. Eze was quality tonight. Really, really good tonight. And I have to praise the manager because in the first leg, obviously you don't really know what you're going to come up against. And a lot of people were saying, oh, it's only Leverkusen, Arsenal should absolutely fly through this. And even myself would have thought that. But Leverkusen are a very, very difficult side to beat. I think they've lost 1 in 14. So they make it difficult for teams. And the difference tonight was we pressed high. In that first leg, we didn't press barely at all, really. And we didn't perform very well in the first leg. But pressing high, we won the ball high up a lot of times. And Eze, that suits Eze as well, pressing high. He's not having to do so much defensive work. But I think the key was the midfield tonight. I thought Zubimendi probably won't get much of a shout out because he came off, early on in the second half. But I thought he had a really good game today. Declan Rice looks like the Declan Rice that we've seen throughout the season. He had that energy again today. He was absolutely everywhere on the pitch, took his goal really, really, really well. And defensively, again, you can't question Arsenal defensively. Our defensive displays are always top. Gabriel and Saliba mopping up where they need to. Nketiah, I thought he had a really good game again. And White as well. I think a lot of people forget as well that Ben White offers us so much more going forward. I think Timber's the better defender, but in terms of going forward in an attacking sense, Ben White with the overlaps as well, creating the space, allowing others to sort of free flow. I think that helped a lot as well. And the manager, for me, has to take a bit of credit because I was looking tonight thinking it's interesting because it's Champions League. It's a difficult game. Yes, we're at home, but we've got a massive cup final to look forward to on Sunday. And I want to see what he does with the team. He made 4 changes from the weekend. And he got it spot on, changed both fullbacks, brought in Trossard. Like I say, Trossard looked really good today. And the performance is now giving me the confidence to say we can win that cup final on Sunday. The fact that City as well tonight have had to play 70 minutes with 10 men, that would have taken a lot out of them. It's very dejecting for them as well to have gone out of the competition and actually, I thought City played really well from an attacking sense. They had a lot of opportunities and chances to actually score against Real Madrid, a lot more than what they did. So that would have taken a lot out of them as well. So I'm very confident about Sunday, Tel, and I'm very happy with the way we performed tonight. And yeah, they all deserve credit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, just get that trophy over the line on Sunday. I beg, please.
Mate, listen, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, Brandon. It's good to see you happy as always, and we'll chat again soon, brother.
Big up.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Listen, people, up next, we've got the panel for you on the show. Winter Surfer's here, David's here, Anton. We've got Jermaine, Egal, and Dio all on the show. Please make sure you're liking and subscribing. A few super chats first that have come through. Says that it's a big disgrace to go to Morocco. Yeah, I've got to read it all first, but yeah, I think it's crazy personally. But they'll appeal it in the sport of arbitration for court, and we'll see what happens. EPL, DMG control. Real Madrid had 6+ XG without 7 starters. Oh, Premier League damage control. Not really. Listen, I still prefer the Premier League. And my message to all the content creators saying the Premier League's not as good as the other leagues. Do a season not covering the Prem and covering those leads, and let's see if you're doing job applications by the end of it. The fact that City played better with 10 men goes in line with them having the players to play really well on transition. Pep just doesn't like it. I absolutely agree with you on that, mate. I do. I won't say Bluecoat out, as it will not happen anyway. I hope this was a wake-up call to both the board and the players. Hire Fabregas or Philippe Luis. By the way, Ches in the group chats is still Bluecoat in fully. He says until the summer anyway. He's fully behind them, and he thinks nothing has changed. I just want to let you all know, because he won't show his face on camera anymore, right? But he is fully Bluecoat in. The maddest bit is he's not even getting paid by Bluecoat to say that. He's fully Bluecoat in. Second best team in the world. Who is the first? Chelsea. You lot deserve this, and I hope you're sent back to the Conference League. Bums is what Atkin says here. Only John Obi Mikel can save Chelsea now. Right, panel time, people. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's do this.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you. I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous with your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Welcome back, everybody. Congratulations to the Arsenal fans. We'll try and put all the Gooners up on the top. Can't put you all on the top because it's impossible.
Hey, Window Surfer, you're in my spot. Thank you.
We'll try and get Jermaine up there in a bit. I need one more person. Well, I'm not putting myself down because I'm not. I can't. No, actually, you know what? I'll sit down there.
No, you're a Gooner, Terry. You're a Gooner. Get back up.
Fans, I'm not even in the Champions League. I'll put you guys up on top. Welcome back. By the way, I want to start with something that's just come out because Enzo Fernandez has just spoken and he's been asked about his future at Chelsea. And Enzo Fernandez has just said, "I don't know. There's 8 games left in the FA Cup. There's the World Cup, and then we will see." Enzo Fernandez went to Surfer David. Sounds like he wants out of Chelsea.
Well, man, after that man of match performance, I'm surprised that he's saying that after his great performance tonight. You know, I'm pretty surprised by that. You know, thought he'd want to stay. Get rid of him, man. Good, go.
I'm saying that, because a lot of Chelsea fans come on here and tell us he's better than Declan Rice.
He's not better than Uncle Ben's Rice, let alone Declan Rice.
I hear you on that. We'll come back to you guys in a minute. Egal, a very important night tonight for Arsenal. You get yourselves through to the next round. 2 worldies of a goal as well. What's going through your mind right now, my friend?
Terry, we are a serious institution. The level of consistency we've shown in the Champions League over the last couple of years, we now need to go and get over the line finally and start winning some of these trophies. But to win today in the manner that we did, we should have been way more clear. That was one of the best performances we've had from the whole entire team. Defensively, we were solid. David Ray at the back line, Nkapie stopping a couple crucial saves early, a couple crucial moments in the beginning of the game. The midfield ran the show. I thought Zubimendi, Eze, and Declan Rice were all superb. And then when you even look at the attackers, the fact that we had the goalkeeper on the other team was man of the match, 100% for them. He made 10 saves, Terry. I'm telling you, Trossard, Saka, Gyökeres, all of them left the game with 0 goals, but their impact in the game was felt because we had Leverkusen worried the entire game. And I'm just so excited to be still in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, quarterfinal of the Champions League, final of the Carabao Cup this upcoming weekend, and still number 1 in the Premier League, looking like we're going to win that too. the sky's the limit. And then if I specifically speak about the goal scorers, Eze, what a strike!
We'll come on to that in a minute. We'll get onto those subjects in a minute on those guys. I want to keep it on the performance for a minute because Dio, from your perspective, performances maybe in the last 4 or 5 games haven't quite been there. How excited does this make you ahead of the weekend and the rest of the sort of title race, seeing a better performance?
Yeah, the performance was good, and that it excites me that we performed that way. The thing is, we've not had this type of performance in the last 2, 3, 4 games that we played. We've kind of just found a way to win, and then the day we choose to perform, Leverkusen Blaswich goalkeeper decides, I'm not letting you guys score. And something that I noticed today with the performance that the boys did was they realized this goalkeeper is having one of those type of games where it's going to be very difficult to score. So we needed a moment of magic. We needed a couple of moments of magic. That ball from Eze, normally, this Arsenal team would try to pass that ball back into the 18-yard box and try to find a way. The run from Declan Rice, normally, we would have tried to pass that ball either to Saka to try to cut back in and then someone take a shot. But both of them, for some reason, decided, I'm going top bins here and I'm going to go bottom corner here. And those 2 moments of magic, because Trossard should have scored. Any other goalkeeper misses that ball. Like there were so many times that guy, man, Blaswich, I appreciate you as a goalkeeper. Thank you for what you did, but man, he almost gave me a heart attack. So again, not only did we show that we played well today, we found those moments of magic because we have a system that works. We know what this team can do on their day. On their day when they're really good, we know what they can do. But then we've never really had players that we have them, but they don't show that moment of magic. And Eze did that today. And, Declan Rice did that today. And Raya did that as well in the last minute. Because it could have been a nervy 3-2 ending. They could have gotten a corner at the very end and then we start panicking again. The stadium will go quiet. But, everybody stood up today. And that performance encourages me about what we will be able to do this season. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm keeping it grounded right now. I'm trying not to. I've done all my shouting when I was watching the game. So, yes.
Yeah, I get wanting to keep it grounded in that regard. In terms of specific players within that, Anton, Eze with maybe, I know he scored a hat-trick in a North London derby. He scored in the return fixture of that. But maybe his biggest moment, a worldie in a Champions League knockout game.
Yeah, that was the best birthday gift I could have asked for.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There we go.
No,
what a great way to knock that in so you get some attention.
By the way, this is what I got for my birthday from my girlfriend. These are Bad Bunny's Carol Herrera sunglasses.
Ooh. Who's Bad Bunny?
He's a singer.
The Super Bowl headliner.
Oh,
yeah. No, he sells his sunglasses that he's worn. He wears like 800 different pairs. But no, she knows I love coming on here with the Sunnies. So shout out to her.
Bad Bunny.
And I'm gonna wear these now every single time we move closer to the quad. Because today I got one and tomorrow I got another one, if anybody knows the reference. No, but that was the goal of the season for me. It was spectacular. We needed guys like him. That's what I was asking for when the reason why I felt so confident about this team. Why I came on to this show when the night we signed him and I said, we're the best team now in Europe. And because we now have guys who can make the difference. The Arsenal have been a very, very good team over the last 3-4 years, but we just didn't have those type of players who took the game on and created moments of magic like that. We had one who's 16 years old on the weekend do it, and today we got with Eberechi Eze. England, you can thank us later because basically most of these future quad winners are going to be coming to the World Cup to help you deliver as well. Because man, Eze, Rice today. What a spectacular finish from Rice. I already spoke about Dalman. Saka's only, a little bit, little details here and there, and he'll be good. And man, I'm fired up, dude. I am fired up for what's to come for this team.
Jermaine, do you echo that when it comes to, you've got so many match winners now? Is that why you guys, whether you play well like today or you're having a bit of an off day, is that why you're able to win so many games because you've just got match winners everywhere?
Are you speaking to me?
Jermaine.
Oh, Jermaine. Oh, yeah. No, sorry, I didn't know who you were talking to. Yeah. Now, first of all, big up Terry. It's good to be back. And in terms of us winning games, I feel like it's been the same theme all season. When we dropped points against Brentford and Wolves, there was a lot of people trying to rewrite how our season's been going. The truth is, our bench and squad depth has carried us to where we are today. And big shout out to Arteta for doing so. Because I'm not trying to go off track, but we've seen other managers in the past have big squads like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when you had the likes of Ronaldo, Cavani, Greenwood, Pogba, Fernandez, etc. He didn't manage his squad as well as Arteta's managing it now. I think TNT Sports put up a stat before the game. Arsenal have the most GA from substitutes in the whole of Europe. Never mind the Premier League. So yeah, man, we do have a lot of players. Today, it wasn't even help from the bench today, but we do have game changers, but more so, I'd say, on the bench.
Yeah, no, here we go. So go on, Gal.
I was just going to say, I said a couple weeks back, and I got laughed at when I said this. We might not have an Erling Haaland. We don't have a Kylian Mbappe. We don't have these guys who are considered the best attackers in the world. But we have multiple different heroes that can step up on any given day. That's what we have. We have so many different players that can step up on any given day. One day it can be Bukayo Saka. Next day can be Declan Rice. Next day can be Eze. Next day can be all these guys. And I don't think too many teams can say they have that many different threats that can step up on any given occasion. And even look at Martinelli, Leandro Trossard. You could take it as far as even saying versus Bayern, Madueke stepped up. I just love the fact that we have this squad depth, and there's people questioning if we made the right signings in the summer. Look at it now. Eze, Gyökeres, Nani Madueke, and Zubimendi combined more than 50 plus GA.
But Egal, where's sorry, I know Terry's the interviewer, but where's performances like today? Where have they been though?
You're not going to have
always been like this.
You're not going to have this all the time, though.
The whole team performed well today. I get that. Not every game you're going to have a great performance. There's times you're going to have rough patches and you just have to get results. But there has been, throughout the season, you've seen certain individuals step up and have great performances. This was the first time in a long time where you could say the whole team had a great performance. I agree with you. But not every game you're going to have the whole team have a great performance.
Yeah. Again, at the end of the day, it's all about contributions. When you have a big squad, that's why you have to manage them. You can't, if one person is a superstar and that person is out, then what happens? The rest of the team, the rest of your squad is useless. The one thing I like about my squad is I can look at this squad and say Gabriel as a defender has contributed 7 GA as a defender, right? That is in the front. And then up in the back, he's kept 13 clean sheets. In fact, it's David Raya, Gabriel, and Saliba that have the most clean sheets in the Premier League right now, in that order. That for me is the kind of thing that excites me. You know, we don't always have to play beautiful football. If we play beautiful football and we don't win that game, it doesn't matter to me. The performances are great. We know what this team can do. We know what on their day against Bayern, we saw it. Against Inter, we saw it. And this was Inter where we changed 7 players. You know, against some top teams, we saw it. Against Real Madrid last season, we saw it. On their day, this team can actually play football. But when you're not facing,
it's gonna sound sick though, Dio.
But when you're not facing Leverkusen every time in this form, you're facing a different team the next time. You've got to adjust yourself, be dynamic, figure out how to beat them. If we assume Eze is going to be scoring this type of goals in every single game, we're deceiving ourselves. Eze is going to probably lay off the pass for the next goal in the next game. You know, so just.
Hey, I gotta say, David, man, why so glum? I thought you said my team. I thought you said my team couldn't score goals in open play.
That was like 2 years ago.
No, that was
really this year.
And also, first of all, why you're bothered about me, I don't really know. Second of all, Anton is literally was live when I said this, and Terry was here as well. When you drew to Wolves or Brentford or something, me and Terry both sat here and said, I don't know why you're all worried. You're clearly the best team.
Yeah, you did.
So
you did. Credit to you, yes.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. So,
he did Egal. I was there.
Yeah.
You try to banter in September and then say, "Oh, why are you coming at me in March?"
He bantered after like 2-3 games. It was like the funniest thing.
Like, what's so funny? Do you know what's so funny? I couldn't imagine being in your position and worrying about me. That's when you guys sit there and go, you don't care. Yeah.
What team does he support?
Oh, you've known David for like 6 years. You know when he's having a little joke. You know he isn't like some of these mad trolls that just do agendas. He said it as a bit of a thing. But on David, back to you for a moment, mate, because 8-2. 8-2.
You wait till you see it. You wait till you see it.
I actually hate that scoreline, by the way. It gives me freaking the itch.
I'd 8-2. I'd 8-2 be a Chelsea fan. Yeah.
Talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
The thing is, I'm not surprised at halftime, so like it doesn't shock me. It's more about like just some of the nonsense I hear from people. And I'll call them out for it. Kwess and Kojo last week sat here and told us the difference between PSG and Chelsea is purely mentality. How wrong were they?
Stop being emotional.
Because we were outclassed at every single level. And this isn't an emotional take. This is just fact. It's not an emotional take. It's just fact. They were better than us on every single level tonight. In the same way they were better than us in every single level in the first leg as well. And when they're like, the quality of it's not like there's no quality in the squad. No one's saying we have no quality. Otherwise, we'd be relegated. You're missing the point. It's that when you get to playing in Champions League like round of 16 games against PSG, being good is not good enough. You need elite players, and the club does not have those elite players. So why they're expecting those players to perform to that level still to this day makes no sense. So I'm just baffled. I'm not surprised, but when I'm hearing people say, I was proud of what happened and this, that, and the other, and you're just waffling. What you're trying to do is that you're worried about what other people are going to think about you having a go at your own club. And whatever you think of the Chelsea project tonight, quite simply, is just not acceptable. You can't be 2-0 down and take off 3 of your best players with 30 minutes to go and basically say to the world, we've given up. We're not good enough, because that is embarrassing. Flat out. Don't care what anyone's going to tell me. Taking off Enzo Fernandez, who apparently is one of our best midfielders, João Pedro, who's been our best player this year, and Cole Palmer, is embarrassing. Flat out. There's nothing more to say, because you do not give up. I don't care if it's impossible. You just don't do it. I've seen big teams be down. That don't mean they take off the best players. The mentality, ironically, even though like the quality, the difference in player, but also that contributes, because when you start the game knowing you need to score 3 goals, you know you can't be messing around with it at the back. Long ball, just, you know what I mean? If there's a long ball, what's the first thing everyone's taught when you play football and you play in defense? Don't let the ball bounce. Just don't let the ball. It's a basic. You don't let the ball bounce. Not only did Mamadou Sarr let the ball bounce, he also took a touch and let Kvaratskhelia have like a perfect through ball, which was genuinely quite remarkable. So we've just signed another Tosin Adarabioyo, which is brilliant. Love to see that. We've got 5. Genuinely, what's more annoying is that like every time I watch, I don't know who's going to make the mistake, but I know there's 2 in there. I know that it's when the commentators talk about the game, they were talking about, the last time Chelsea scored 4 goals, because we all know we're not keeping a clean sheet because there's too many idiots in defense. So, yeah, tonight was just embarrassing. But am I surprised? Not one bit. We just went to the wrong club. I don't have the money to be operating in these standards. I can't do it. The girls asking me to buy 20 drinks. I've not got that money. I'm broke. I'm broke right now. So let me go home in peace. I can beat Port Vale. I can lose in the semi-finals. I can take my 6th place in Europa League with pride. And yeah, that's life right now, which is a shame, but we move. When you make bad decisions, this is where you end up. Standard.
How do you feel about it, Winter Surfer? I mean, I remember us talking the night you won the Conference League and how happy you were with it. You're back in the Champions League, and it's like you sort of felt like Chelsea were getting back to where you wanted to be, the Club World Cup. You fast forward now to March the following year, and it feels, I'm not saying you want to be back in the Conference League, but do you feel a little bit like that in the sense of you're better than that level, but is it worse being at this level and being exposed?
I think I've just watched the most pointless game in Chelsea's history tonight. Literally, I feel like I would have just rather literally watch paint dry tonight. I think we'd had better results. Oh, by the way, Kwess and Kojo are what we call enablers, Terry. They're enablers. That's what Blueco want. Blueco want these type of fans who will just take it and take it and take it and not say anything. And I heard the word proud. I literally wanted to drop kick him in the face when he said proud, because that was ridiculous. To use the word proud for this performance is remarkable. There's no pride there. I mean, we've literally got Graham Potter 2.0 on the sidelines. You know, he's going to go in there tomorrow with his guitar and sing Kumbaya and make everything all right for the Everton game. There'll be no accountability for them whatsoever. You know, it shows with Enzo Fernandez's comments tonight. Not like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to say anything. My team's just gone out 3-0." He's only thinking about himself. That's what it is, and that's the culture that's created at the club.
By the way, club captain tonight.
The club captain. After a great performance as well, Enzo. You were great tonight as well. Left it all on the field. But that's the culture that's been created. There's no accountability whatsoever. You know, listen, I'm actually the people who still like this project, who still support Blueco. You deserve this result. You deserve this result. I'm actually glad. Listen, I want us out of everything. I want us out of everything. I don't want Champions League football. There's no point. These players don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. You know what I mean? We saw the transfer window last season when we're going into the transfer league, and you bring me Garnacho and Sloth from Goonies, Liam Delap. I mean, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? What are we doing? And you bring Saad. You bring Saad. And by the way, just on a side note, I think Chalobah got a bad injury, so I hope he recovers well. But it doesn't really matter. Like David said, I'm really surprised people actually turned up tonight. I really am surprised. I know a lot of people sold their tickets. First of all, if you were one of the people who bought a ticket for this game, can I please have your bank details and your cash, please? Because or just burn it, because that would be better than actually going to this game. And actually, people stayed there still at 2-0. They only left at 3-0. It was like, 2-0 was fine.
The video of the girl playing the game on her phone.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the type of thing. This is the type of thing. I don't think anything's going to change, because we saw it from the comments last week. You know, we're building the best team. We're building the best team in the world, Terry. And also, like, the manager, the correlation between the manager, the results, and the team doesn't really matter. The manager doesn't do anything, Terry. So
how many wins do you guys have since you guys started praying to the ball? I'm just curious.
Well, I think the ball looked at us and went, "We're non-believers." That's what they said, because the ball doesn't respect us at all. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. I mean, I honestly, I've lost words. I can't even critique this performance, because what was I expecting with 3-0 down? PSG, I don't even know what gear they were in. I think they were parked. That's what they were.
Yeah, I really do. I think they could have beaten you by more tonight if they actually went here. But it did feel, once they got that third, it felt like they just went, we don't need to sort of do any more.
I remember they had the weekend off as well.
Now, so I just want to point out to a few people in the chat, you don't actually mean you would drop kick him in the face, would you? You're talking
No, just metaphorically. When he said proud, when he said the word proud after that performance, proud, Terry. I mean, like I said to your previous stream, you must hate football and Chelsea at the same time to think that's a proudful performance. Of course, I wouldn't drop kick him in the face, because he beat the shit out of me. Look at him; he's built like a tank. Do you know what I mean? But no, I'm just saying, like, but it's not Kojo. Kojo's not the only one. There's a lot of them. They're enablers. They allow this to happen. It's like Chelsea are like an addict, and those type of fans are just the ones that go, "He'll change. He'll change." If I just I won't report him. I won't, you can steal all my stuff, steal all my money. It's fine. You'll change. But they keep. That's the type of fans they want. They want fans that will stay silent and accept it. You know what I mean? That's what they want. They want this. I don't think anything would change. Look at those comments last week from the director, Terry. Did anyone come out and refute those comments? Did anyone come out? There was none of our mouthpieces in the press said that was wrong. What he said, none of them. So don't hold out like a 3-0. Don't hold out. We lost 5-0 to Arsenal a couple of seasons ago. Nothing changed. So why would 3-0 to PSG not do anything?
What's going to annoy me is that after the game,
breaking Don, and Jermaine obviously knows Don well, for Don to go from being relatively, I don't know, criticize things Blue Co have done, but he's been quite supportive of the project and the direction and where they're going. See, I tell by Jermaine's smile, he obviously had lots of chats with him about it. Seeing Don break after that interview last week and just go, nah, I can't do it anymore. Like that for me, there's pleasure I took from that, not in the fact that Don broke, but when you see someone who's a staunch supporter go, nah, fuck that, it's too much. David, you were like,
that's the commentary. Why didn't these guys break after the summer window we had? Why did it take this long to do it? Why didn't they break after the summer window when they saw us like not paying additional 8 million for Mike Mannion, not go for Semenyo, but go for Garnacho and Gittins for 90 million and sign frigging Delap? Why didn't they break then? Oh, it only takes now for you to break. Now for you to break. But hey,
to be fair, I'll put my hands up. I'll put my hands up. I broke after Maresca left. That was
David,
my
you're allowed one. That's one.
That's my bad. I should have never believed in the first place.
You got a lot of credit. You got a lot of credit. That's fine.
This super chat from Brian said Rafinha really looks out of his depth, but that's the truth. He does. At the same time, I just don't think he deserves almost any blame. He shouldn't be. I wanted to give him time. Young English manager. I wanted him to get an opportunity. The things he says, I mean, the whole respecting the ball thing, I'm just like, oh wow. But he just isn't ready to be the manager of a club your size in these types of games. And I feel for him. I really, really do. Enzo will be window dressing during the World Cup finals. I don't think it's the end of the world for Chelsea, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that good. Don Lusional, where are you? I'm not sure where Don is tonight. 8-2 is nasty work. Don't let them off the hook. I mean, look, there's not much for us to say. They're saying it all. They're going in on their club. At least they respect the spirit of the ball. Yeah. I never really got that. Has anyone ever heard that before anywhere in the world?
Aging men? I mean, once you've heard someone say aging men, like just expect all kinds of things throughout the entire season.
It's kind of corny.
Like, how do you just like? There's nowhere in the world where it's ever been described like that. The word manage, it's never.
I've heard some coaches in the NFL talk like that way, but
no, but not that word though.
No,
and I think the major
people in the world.
Yeah, and I think the major thing is like this Chelsea.
Why is not one of them just grabbed him and said, "Stop, just shut up, like just focus on football"? Why are you speaking about all the added stuff?
I told this story earlier on today. When this was about 2018, was not long before, but no, much before that. 2014, when my first son was born. I was walking back from the station after getting home from work, and a drunk driver veered off the road and hit me with his car, and I had to have my shoulder and my knee worked on. So I had to take about a month off work. And I was, at the time, leading teams at the bank I worked at, and I was getting right into it, doing my corporate courses, and every morning doing huddles and team speeches. I thought I was the bollocks. And then when I was off work for like a month after a bit of surgery. I had nothing to do, and I had Netflix, but I hadn't really started watching Netflix. I didn't really kind of know what it was. And The Office was on there. And I've always wanted to watch this. Everyone said it's great. And I watched it, and I loved it, and it was hilarious. When I came back to work, a lot of my staff were like, you've come back really different. Like, what do you mean? They said, you're just a little bit more to the point, not doing the huddles and the games, and the motivational speeches have stopped. I said, to be honest with you, I watched David Brent on The Office and realized I sound like him. So I stopped. I cut it out. I realized, oh my God, I say things like that because the corporate courses tell you to say this stuff. And it was only hearing it in a comedy I realized how naff and how shit it sounded. And that's the one thing I say to Liam Rafinha. 90% of people that hear you talk like that go, oh, for fuck's sake. At any level of work.
He have a PR manager, by the way.
He sounds like he's auditioning on LinkedIn. Like the guy sounds like somebody who's literally on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, hire me when you already have a job."
Yeah, Terry, you know your story, right, Terry? If Liam Rafinha got hit by the car, he'd say sorry to the car. That's what he would do. You know what I mean? This guy has no. He's a substitute teacher, in my opinion. That's all he looks like. Okay, he looks like he doesn't belong there. He looks like deer caught in the headlights. All the things you want to say.
Looks like the players treat him like a substitute teacher.
Terry,
Like, you
how
know,
to
when
make it today?
when the substitute teacher comes in, everybody misbehaves. That's kind of how I feel like it is.
How can any players respect him? I don't understand. He holds no respect at all. None.
It's not about respect.
But I think that stems from your ownership, though, because you have to look at the entire thing, right? This is 4 years into your project, and it seems like every year you're going backwards. It's like almost every year you keep on going. It looks like you're going forward. There's been no consistency with your managers. You fired managers, brought in managers, fired managers, brought in managers. You set up a model that says we are going to cap our salary, and you expect to be able to attract big players who actually earn premium to come and prove themselves. You literally have a system that has your medical team as a private, like a standalone entity on their own, and can make decisions on players and then recommend that decision to the manager, whether or not the manager needs that player to play. Like, it's such a very bad model that from the very beginning, you can see that this is going to collapse. And because of that, it's trickled down to the respect that the players have for the type of manager. Because again, why should I respect Rosinha when you could fire him in 3 months and bring somebody else?
When the ownership say that managers don't have there's no statistical evidence to prove that managers have any impact on us being better football clubs. When that's being said, if you're a manager, your subordinates are not going to listen to you in the same way. It doesn't matter if it's football or you're running a supermarket. Imagine the area manager comes in and says to all the staff in the supermarket, the manager has no real power. Now, not no real power, but the manager, whether he's here or not, the store operates the same with or without him. Your staff will stop listening to you because they see you just as a nobody.
You're a figurehead.
So what would worry me the most about Chelsea is the renewal of the contracts of your better players. Yes, Reece James had a new deal, but I've been shown some documentation that shows he's taken a pay cut with bonuses that will make him a little bit higher than what he's on, which means you haven't maintained the 250 a week basic or added to it. It's been reduced with some incentives because he's already on a lot of money from the previous regime. That would worry me as well because he's a defender and he can't really play 2 games a week. So you can probably spin that. There's no way Palmer gets back to his best. No way if Caicedo keeps improving. There's no way if Esteval becomes a player that you Chelsea fans hope that he is. I don't see them as of right now going, listen, we want to keep you. What's Declan Rice earning? What was Rodri at his peak earning? What's Bruno Fernandez being paid? I don't see them matching those salaries, and they're going to sell them. That's, for me, the scary factor. Arsenal, the biggest thing that the Cronkies have changed at their club in the last 5 years, yes, they're spending more money, but it's the renewal of the contracts of their best players. You boys know, because Chelsea, you signed a few of them. United got a few of them. Barca got some. City got fucking half of them. When Wenger was refusing to pay the going rate, every single time Arsenal had a good player, gone. That's what, and I just think you guys, some of you, not you two, I think some of you are sleepwalking into that trap. And it's there for everyone to see. And the Reece James renewal, if all the facts about this are right, it just screams we are not going to pay the going rate for any of these stars. And you guys have got to do something about it. I want to just move away from that for a second. We'll come back to the super chats in a bit. It's been a long time, Will, but it's good to see you on here. 5-1 victors over Manchester City. How you feeling, mate?
I'm feeling good. I just wanted to hop on the show. Big up to everybody that's here. Just to let you guys know, Premier League hype all season. Have to hear about how amazing the Prem is, how clear it is of these other leagues. If it comes down to knockouts, the Premier League conditioning, and all these different things. I don't know why an Arsenal fan is doing that. Egal, you have to understand the competition that we're talking about right now. But, look, it was a great
The one we're about to win?
Say it again?
Is this the same Madrid? Is this the same Madrid I played last season? Is this the same Madrid I played last season?
Oh, yes.
No, one second.
The biggest
let him say his Premier League hype.
Let Will finish, please, guys.
No, I was just saying, I get it, right? It's the biggest accomplishment for your club is not losing to Real Madrid. So, look, fair enough. But it was a good victory. I thought we were a little bit shaky. I thought Vinicius really let them off the hook, over this draw. Missed a couple sitters, missed a penalty in the first leg. But I think, it's crazy how Pep Guardiola, I feel like when you look at his track record at Man City, it's amazing what he's doing in the Prem. But then when you look at it in the UCL with all the money that he spent, it's been very underwhelming. I think you'd have to say so, right? Like in the January window, you bring in Semenyo, you bring in Gahey, and then they kind of don't help you out here. Last January brings in a lot of players as well, gets knocked out to us again. It's the third season in a row. So I'm happy, right? But I had to get on here because I just feel like the Premier League supremacy that I hear, it doesn't really match what's going on in this competition when we all meet together. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts and hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, let me just go first, guys.
Go on.
Last season, Arsenal was the only team out of the English teams that actually made it to the quarterfinals. And last season, out of the only team that made it to the quarterfinals, they beat you to go to the semis. And yes, you guys got Man City, you beat Man City, but I'm not really surprised. You and Man City have been going head to head for the last couple of years. They take some, you take some. But to say all the other Premier League teams are weak, Chelsea, we know what they are. Tottenham, we know what they are. Liverpool are having a poor season. The only real representative for England is Arsenal right now. So if we get knocked
just
out,
overrated, not weak, not
so
weak.
if we get knocked out,
can I tell
if we get knocked out, you can talk about it. But the Premier League in general, let's be real,
is overrated.
The Premier League in general
Hang
is
on,
a
hang
lot
on.
better of a product, in my opinion, than what La
When
Liga
you
is.
say overrated, Will, what angle are you coming from? When you say overrated, in what way?
In terms of, right, we know how English fans, how you guys speak about the Prem, as if it's so clear your teams would go to other leagues and just dominate, etc.
Okay.
But
so
then when we all meet up in the Champions League, then it's very different. And when you look at the money that the Premier League spends,
I hear your point. So my view on it is this. I agree with you.
This is a money argument.
I agree with you in the sense that PSG would challenge for the league title in England. Real Madrid, a lot of seasons, would compete for the league title in England. So would Barcelona, so would Bayern Munich. I think those four teams would compete year in, year out. The one thing I would say that is different is one of the reasons why the Real Madrids and the Barcelonas have got the squads they've got is because the money that your league generates, 80% of it goes to you guys. If you came to the Prem, your revenues would drop significantly because you'd suddenly earn less money, meaning you wouldn't maybe have as much money as you do. You wouldn't also have the monopoly in England where you'd be able to take everybody's best players off them, because that doesn't happen that much in the Premier League in terms of there isn't one team that just consistently takes everybody else's best players. You've got
that doesn't happen in La Liga either.
Well, you and Barcelona have the lion's share of the money, and you guys know that if there's a really good player at Villarreal, a really good player at Espanyol, a really good player, and obviously there's some you guys don't get a lot from Atletico, and Barcelona don't get a lot from certain clubs, but you guys know that you get the pick of that. The same as in Germany, the same as in France, they have the pick of that. The difference in it is this for me. Everybody knows that the best teams from Spain, France, and Germany can compete with the best teams from England. That isn't the overhyping bit. That's when kids get involved and talk nonsense. The difference being is that it's the volume of English teams that can do well in Europe, from the Conference League right through to the Champions League. I think it's a stronger league in terms of its depth, based on the fact we had 9 teams get through to the knockout stages, as an example. Now, what you're going to see as you go into the last 8 is a lot of those teams go out because there's a lot of top teams still in Europe, as an example. But we're probably going to get a few teams go through to the latter stages of the lower competitions as well. That's all it is. And when it comes to being the best, if you want my personal opinion, this is my view to everyone who creates content. A lot of content creators that say it. Spend a year not talking about the Prem and only talking about the French League or the Spanish League, and I guarantee you'll be on LinkedIn in 12 months applying for jobs elsewhere, because that's how much bigger we are than you. Is that if you don't talk about the Prem online, you ain't making no fucking money, bruv. So it is much bigger because more of the world are interested. So from a global...
I don't talk about the Prem, though. I think I'm doing... Actually, like, not as good as like you are, Terry. You know, you have a massive platform, but I think I'm doing pretty good. I don't talk about the Prem.
No, if you talk about the Liga all the time.
But I'm saying if you talk about the Prem, though, Will, it changes your dynamic entirely. And here's the thing, yes, Madrid is a big club in the Champions League, but I'm just going to say this to you: you might own the Champions League, but I own you. You've never beat me in the Champions League every time I've met you. Yeah, so I want you to remember that every single time I've met you, I beat you on the way to meet Barcelona. And
We forget about it all the time.
I know you
But
have to
that's
forget
what you
about it,
hold
but I'm
on
just
to.
letting
I
you
don't
know. I'm
remember
just
it.
letting you know. You might own the Champions League, but I own you.
I don't think that the Premier League, like, what I'm not okay. So my point is, right? I think that, like, obviously the Prem is the most competitive league in the world. I agree with that. Top 6, right? Even though you could look at the last winners, I think if any other league like only had 2 winners like over a majority of a decade, then you guys would call it a farmers league, very similar to like what the Prem was, because you have City that dominated it. Then you had like Liverpool, they got 2. Then I know like Chelsea won it like almost like 10 years ago, Leicester City, etc. But
Will,
for
just
the
very quick,
money,
on the Farmers League points, I want to say on the Farmers League point. So the Farmers League point, though, again, I do where I agree with you is that a lot of uneducated, low IQ Premier League fans, kids that make TikTok, don't even understand what Farmers League means. The reason by the way, have never really labeled the other European leagues that, because I don't talk that way. I never slag La Liga off. I think La Liga is great. I think it's very high quality, right? I think our league is better as a product and from an entertainment value and all the different storylines, but I'm biased in that because it's English football and I'm from here. But I think your league's great. The Farmers League thing, though, is I think when you look at France as a general view, generally speaking, once you drop outside PSG, most of their other teams are rarely a threat to the English sides. That's where it and every now and then, like Lyon will have a good team or Lille will have a good year or two, like Marseille, a little bit of a threat this year to some teams, but that's where it's at. Calling La Liga a Farmers League, I find very disrespectful. Germany, I find it disrespectful. Italy right now, I actually think is very low standard. When Scott McTominay is your best player, that worries the living daylights out of me for him. But I do get where you're coming from. I think there's too much disrespect thrown towards La Liga, if I'm being honest, like it's some bum league. It isn't. And for me, we are the top 2, and I think we're clear of everybody else, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. I just think, and I feel if you're going to say that the Premier League is better, where you lose credibility is if you say, and the league is shit. It's a bit like the Messi and Ronaldo debate. Anyone who says the other one is shit or overrated, you're an idiot. You've already lost the debate for me. I just think it's about balance on that, personally.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is good job knocking out Man City. I wanted them to lose. I personally couldn't give a shit if English teams go far. I only care about Arsenal doing.
I'm gonna need you guys in the semis, Arsenal fans. I'm gonna need you because it's gonna be Arsenal and Barca. I need you to do the
you get past your
world a favor.
quarterfinals. Don't worry about semis.
Oh, we got you.
I need you to knock them out.
Will, can I ask you a question?
Who are you playing? Bayern.
Yeah. But I'm talking about from like your side because I expect Arsenal to make the final. I actually asked this question. I was talking to somebody. I said, "What stops Arsenal?"
I'm respecting every opponent.
Sorry.
It don't sound like you're respecting Real Madrid.
No. I'm just saying.
I don't. Real Madrid's on the other side. If we meet them in the final, we meet them in the final.
No,
but
I'm just saying if we can't win,
we still gotta play Sporting. This guy needs to still play Bayern. He's talking.
No, what I'm saying, you're missing what I'm saying, bro. What I'm saying is just knock out Barca. Not because I think I'll meet you in the final. I just want Barca knocked out.
He hates Barca. He just
wants to get knocked out tomorrow.
Yeah,
you never
God
know.
willing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all Newcastle tomorrow. God willing.
Will, can I ask you a question?
If Newcastle win tomorrow, the Prem ain't overrated, is it?
No. Hey, look, I'll join and I'll bro. I'll probably buy a Newcastle kit. As long as Barca get knocked out, then I'm happy.
I got a question though, back on the La Liga thing for a second though.
Go ahead,
so I was just looking. Wolves and West Ham and Burnley have all taken points off of the big boys this season. Are teams like Elche, Levante, Real Oviedo capable of doing that to you or Barcelona?
I mean,
in La Liga?
Elche took points off of us a couple months ago. Getafe beat us at home like last week. Yeah, I mean, Rayo Vallecano took points off of us. Sevilla beat Barcelona 4-1 a couple months ago. I mean, but
Will, here's my question: If City, Arsenal, Chelsea, the big 6, Liverpool, let me remove 6, big 5, Tottenham, I don't think. If they move to La Liga, how do you think they would perform? That's how I kind of wait. Like I look at La Liga and I say, if Madrid and Barcelona and maybe Atletico come to the they will challenge. They will give it a go, right? Like these are teams that will be top 3, top 4. Like, they'll always be there fighting. But with us, there's more teams in the English Premier League that can actually come into La Liga and actually challenge as well. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Which is why I think
I would say Martin Zubamendi, watching him the whole year, as the season has progressed, you can tell he's fatigued a little bit. His performances have dropped off because he's not used to playing week in and week out in a league as physically demanding as ours. Where I feel like in La Liga, he was one of your best midfielders for the last few years. Am I right?
Wait, who? Say it again.
Zubi. Like this year for us, as the season has progressed, you could tell he's fatigued and his performances has dropped off the further the season has gone because he's been struggling a little bit with the physicality and with the demands of the Premier League. And I feel like in La Liga, he's been one of your best midfielders for the last few years and he hasn't had those same issues. Anton, you have to put context though. We play with a lot more football in England than in Spain. Again, there's too many trophies, too many cups, and we're playing too many games. Let's be honest about it. So it's not just the Prem that tires out Zubi. It's the volume of games that we play in England. The FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, the Champions League, any cup, midweek games. They play indoor games. They play all kinds of nonsense. So again, there's context around why these players get that tired.
Did you guys hear what Pedri said last week? Last week, if I'm not mistaken, Pedri referred to comments made online about people saying how they think he wouldn't make it in the Premier League because of the physicality. And he's like, against Newcastle, he could see why people would make those remarks.
I think he would eventually after getting used to it. Is Zubi not adjusting himself? Let me ask you not in year one, but by year 2, year 3, I think he would. Let me ask you a question. Even with the fatigue, is Zubi still not one of the best midfielders in the Premier League this season? He is. So that tells you the quality of the Spanish league. Coming from Real Sociedad, coming to Arsenal with fatigue, still being one of the best midfielders. That tells you the quality of player that's coming from Spain. So we can't underplay how good the Spanish league is by using fatigue when we actually play more games in the Premier League than Sociedad would play. Right? Sociedad is not going to compete on all 4-5 fronts for a long time. Arsenal has played almost a good point. We've already played 48 games right now. I think United is going to play 40 games in total this season. What do you expect when a player has played 48 games and there's still a bunch more to go? We're talking till the end of May. And he's still one of the best players. That tells you the quality of the player. So the Spanish
that's a good point. I just wanted to just join just because, we all make content. So, I get a lot of Premier League this, Premier League that. So, it's just interesting that in the UCL, because I think with the money that the Premier League spends, you should be dominating. Friggin' Sunderland, they almost outspent us this past summer window, and they were just
I understand that
the money is mad. So it's just when I hear people just act like the Prem is just, and not necessarily just saying.
But, I think it is though, Will. Like I was saying earlier, I think there is this thing. When people do this when it comes to internal talks where people go, some Arsenal fans say to me, we're bigger than Man United now, Terry. I mean, what do you mean? We're so much bigger than you right now. And what do you mean bigger? Look how much better we are. I tell you, you're better than us right now, but you're not bigger than Man United. And I think there is sometimes this conversation. When I say we're better than La Liga, I'm only actually talking about the overarching product. I don't care whether the football's better or not. I'm never going to debate that because I couldn't give a fuck about the style of football. I'm talking about the title races, the relegation races, the subplots. Actually, I am also talking about how our TV companies produce it and put it together. I'm talking about our continually growing global audience versus your own internal shrinking Spanish audience. I think it's an overall better product that people enjoy more. So that's how I kind of view it as an overall thing. But at the same time, I don't disrespect Spanish football. There's a super chat here that is very disrespectful to me, but it says, Premtard, thank you. Terry doesn't know Spanish clubs refuse to sell to Real Madrid and sell to Premier League clubs cheaply. Well, I mentioned both you and I mentioned Barcelona.
What name is that? Oh my God.
And I know hang on a minute, mate. Let me finish. I know for a fact that Barcelona, in the summer, their new number one goalkeeper, for example, was bought from a Spanish team as an example.
They're rival as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Real Madrid in recent years haven't bought as many players from Spanish teams as maybe they did in years gone by. But Real Madrid have also gone down a little bit of a different approach when it comes to signing players in terms of trying to get people on free transfers, trying to bring people in a little bit cheaper. But over the years, many a star, many a top quality player have been purchased from other Spanish clubs. But there's also not, when you say I have no knowledge about Spanish football, also understand that if you took Real Madrid and Barcelona and put them in the Premier League, revenues would suddenly drop even further.
I don't think so. The
what's
Premier
your-
League TV deal is worth over $1 billion more than La Liga's.
Yeah,
I
but
understand that, but that's
no
spread
one
even.
how it's shared. Yeah.
Spread even. So my question is, if you look at if we, for instance, look at, I can work this out, Real Madrid, all revenues. All right, if we actually look
I think we made over $1 billion last season.
Yeah,
I think we're
yeah,
like
but
number like one.
what I'm looking for here is hopefully this shows it. Some websites do, some don't. So as an example, that's very, very detailed. I just want a more basic one. 1 second. So if we just look, I weren't expecting to talk about this today, so I haven't really come prepared. I'm just trying to look
if you look at over the last 5 seasons, I think it's something like Brighton have outspent us.
No, I understand that. So, but that's because
we've given them 250 million.
You also like buying players on free.
Slow down, please. Let me just finish. That's part of that reason is because of the volume. So your TV revenue that comes in. So broadcasting, yes, this is it. Your broadcasting revenue, even though our TV deal is bigger, is still 335 million a year. Okay, to put that into context, City get Liverpool that won the league title. Theirs was 321 million because they won the league title. But on average, in that same period, the broadcasting money has been around 250 million. Man City's, on average, in that same period, has been a little higher because they've won the league a lot. Theirs is around 300. So the team winning the league in England is getting about the same TV and prize money that you're getting, even when you're not winning your league. But if you look, and so what you would find would happen if you both joined the Premier League, unless you were winning it every year, there's a good chance you drop from 350 million on average per year to maybe 250. That's 100 million less a year if you're not winning the league. You might win it every single year, but it's harder to do that in England. Equally with City. So there's all these things that we don't know the outcome of it until you were here. But it's one of those things that would be an equal playing ground. If you look at Chelsea as an example, on average in the last 5 years, they've averaged just over 250 million because they've not been high enough in the league. So if you come in and get it wrong and you don't buy well enough, and so it's one of those things where you guys, no matter whether you're winning La Liga or not, you're in that higher echelon as an example, sort of area. Although Barcelona's is less, but I think that's because you guys get more TV money than they do because you're still a bigger club than they are, whether they like hearing it or not. Arsenal fans chats for H2H. What? I don't know what that means.
Head-to-head.
Prague clubs have a positive head-to-head because, like Arsenal, they compete every 30 years, win one Champions League, and dominate bums. Oh, okay.
Okay. Like what? Like yeah. But if you bring up if somebody comes up and says, my team is in Europe when we meet, you said when English teams meet in Europe and they meet the Spanish teams, here's the outcome. Then I have to point out the head-to-head record in Europe.
Yeah,
Like,
but at
that
the
is
same
what
time,
people-
Arsenal fans, I feel like we do celebrate a lot of intangibles. Like
No,
things
this is
that
not
actually don't mean
celebrating. This is
anything. When we
this is
should have
not
won it about 15 times.
I
don't
know.
think
This
they
is
really
not. This is
cared
not
that we haven't
celebrating.
beat
This
them.
is not celebrating though. This is responding to someone saying, when you meet me in Europe, right? I dominate, and I'm like, well, when you meet me in Europe, you have head to head. That is not a celebration. That is stating a fact. The fact that you state a fact and someone says, oh no, you're celebrating, doesn't make any sense to me. If you said to me, oh, you know what? In Europe, across the history of the Champions League, the Spanish teams have won more Champions League than English teams. We dominate more. Now I'm willing to have that conversation, and I can be like, yeah. But when you're trying to make it a one-on-one thing, then you have to bring up the head-to-head record because you're saying I'm going up against you. You know.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Oh. Sorry. Someone sent me through some stats. But as I say, listen, this guy can keep coming for me all he wants in the chat, especially when he's super chatting. Keep abusing me. I'll take it all day, bro. I don't slag off La Liga. I just think it's one of those things where, as I said earlier, I think slagging it off is ridiculous. So, but equally the other way around. When I hear people go overrated Prem's shit, Prem's this, I go straight away. You lose me in the debate because it's not shit. It can't be ever growing and be crap. I do think the Spanish clubs, though, we can see it in the results. They have an edge historically over the English clubs in Europe. And I almost think there's a mental element to it, which is why when Man United actually beat 2 Spanish teams, and that was only in the Europa League, I was chuffed because no matter how good we are, I hate playing the Spanish teams. It's something about Spanish teams that gets in the head of Manchester United. But what I was really interested in was the last I think it will have changed because of the Real Madrid game and the Atletico game. But it was something crazy, like 13 games in a row. English teams, for the first time ever, were beating the La Liga sides in games, going from last season into this season, and beating them quite comfortably as well. So I think that, again, if the money keeps going the way it is, and our money keeps rising and yours keeps decreasing, it won't be too many years until on a footballing level that does change, because money dictates everything. It's why the English clubs for years struggled against the Italians and the Spanish, because you guys had so much more money than we did throughout the 90s and the noughties. And that plays a massive part. So La Liga farms South Americans, and the Premier League is coming for their stash now. That's 80% revenue share is not going to save you. Well, 80% of less and less money every 3 years is it's not.
And Terry, can I point out one real quick data as well? So Spanish clubs have won 20 European Cup, UCL, and English clubs have won 15. The Spanish club that have won it is Madrid 15, Barcelona 5. There's been 6 different English clubs win it. That tells you how variety.
None of them are us.
So exactly, that means that a bunch of different English clubs can actually go in there. And I'm not saying you're not better in volume, but now you can see the dominance is between Madrid and Barcelona. You don't have a
the Premier League's more competitive.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
I mean. Better. That's why the first question we should ask people is, when you mean better, what do you mean?
What do you mean? That's
because
why.
This is where I look at the Liga and I worry for it as a league, because let's say their TV money continues to dwindle over the next 20 years. And the Premier League money, I mean, the Premier League is probably going to start its own streaming service. I know they're playing that down, but they will. And the money goes up. If you eventually have a situation where there's 6 or 7 teams in England that have more money than Barcelona and Real Madrid, and they're dwindling financially, you might find that you go through a 20+ year period where, of course, some Spanish teams will win Champions Leagues. But if you go for a period where the English teams just start winning it, and because they've got more money, that could also happen. There's a reason so many Italians did so well throughout the 90s in the tournament, so many finals, victories, etc.
But I think it's impossible, Terry. We're too big, bro. Like, we're too big. Like let's be honest. Like, if you think about it, right?
Maybe.
Like Real Madrid, Barca, you could say that the 2 clubs alone are bigger than the Prem, just in general.
But you're only you're only as big as your league is. I'll give you an example. Celtic as a football club, globally, are gargantuan. They have. They're not, I wouldn't say they're as big as Real Madrid. I wouldn't say they're as big as Liverpool, Man United, Barcelona. But they are not. If you put a club like them in the Premier League, it wouldn't take them too many years until their revenue started to catch up. They've got fans everywhere. The problem is Scottish football, since the 80s, has just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and there's no real money in it, as an example. So all my point is, you're never going to make Barcelona, Real Madrid a small club. But look how much more money you've said now Sunderland are spending compared to you. Let's just say La Liga's TV deal money shrinks by another 30-40% in the next few years.
But why would we do that, though? That's like...
But if it keeps
shrinking, like, what if it increases by that same number then?
No, but this is what I'm saying. If it increases, then there's no harm, no foul. But if it decreases by another 30%, 40%, and the Premier League increases by that amount of money, it then means that Man City's and Chelsea's, maybe not right about Chelsea right now, Man United's, Arsenal's, all have more money than you. In fact, if Sunderland can keep spending more than you, I think over the course of a 5 to 10 year period, that's when you might see the effects of that. If those teams can go, right, well, come play here, we pay you more money. The one thing you'll always have is that you're Real Madrid and there is that prestige to play for you. But the one thing I would say about the whole prestige thing is that you still have a massive wage bill. It's not as though you're paying less wages than other big clubs because it's a privilege to play for you. You pay the people because they play for you. And if the money isn't there, you won't be able to do that either. So the one thing with the Liga, I actually think paying you and Barcelona most of the money doesn't help you because it's made your league less competitive, which I think makes less people around the world want to watch it. So I think there's something you've got to do where actually in the short term, it might hurt you financially, but it might make your league more popular and therefore longer term, more money comes in. But
well, we also got to face it. They've lost Ronaldo and Messi, who were the 2 biggest stars of the Liga in the first place. Yeah. It's the only reason people were watching it for the last 15 years was Messi and Ronaldo.
I mean, they did get Kylian Mbappe, but
no, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
He's not Ronaldo. He's brilliant. But
but they were the 2 biggest clubs before Messi and Ronaldo were really doing their thing.
Right, but there wasn't a global thing like it was when those two
Was it?
stars
Okay,
were
fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe,
Fair
I mean,
enough.
Again, you know that the TV broadcast rights for La Liga has actually been set up until 2032, like 2031, 32 season. Like you literally have a deal in place for 1 point something billion a year, euros, like with your broadcast. So again, you've capped yourself. And when we say it reduces, I work in media. If you're not getting eyes on stuff, you start losing advertisers. You see,
It's
like
the second most watched league, though. Like
No,
I don't think it'll ever
I'm
be
not.
as
I'm
big
not.
as
I'm not saying.
Champions
Hear me out.
in terms of
What
making
you
money.
need to understand with volume of advertising is if you lose 1% advertising, that's a lot of money in TV. If you lose one advertiser who actually puts an ad in between the halftime, that's a lot of money for the broadcast guys that they're losing. You're thinking, it's never going to be. Look, if this is why, if you notice, when advertisers pull away from a program, that program probably has maybe a year at the most to survive. It's going off air. Because advertising money is big money, right? So, and that's how the broadcasters make their money back.
What I find interesting is in the UK, when I was growing up, everybody wanted to watch La Liga because it's where the majority of the best players were, that in Italy. And it was available quite easily here. I don't actually know what channel you need. I watch it via Setanta Sports, which, by the way, if you sign up to NordVPN today, people, by using the QR code, it's not on the screen now, but the link on Setanta Sport, you get La Liga football. That's where I watch it now. But it became the only way you could get it was by like paying like an extra £25 a month for like Premier Plus. And no one's paying that. And the thing is, nobody was paying it to just watch La Liga. Sky got rid of it because nobody was tuning in to watch it. And that's crazy because you would have thought they were. And I know piracy plays a part and everything else, but where's this Madrid fan been showing up now? Will's busy working, man. Will's busy working. Blueco won you lot the World Club Cup, most prestigious trophy in the world history. Show some respect. Unpopular opinion. The reason we are still competing on all four fronts is because we have been managing games and playing with control, not 100 miles an hour. Come on.
Spot on.
Yep.
Spot on.
Very, very good point. Okay, we've done that one here. This AFCON stuff is disgusting. Look, I don't know the ins and outs of it, to be fair. I mean, yeah.
AFCON has a Article 82 and 84 rule that says if a team abandons the game, they forfeit, the other team wins 3-0. So what happened was they let the final finish and the appeals board actually appealed it. And that rule is there. It's been there for CAF forever. CAF has had that rule since far back. Yeah, which is if you abandon the game, and again, they did. Sierra Leone walked out of that game for 15 minutes in the final. And then
I thought it was weird that they just didn't blow. I did think it was weird they didn't blow the final whistle. That was on the referee, which is why the appeals board went ahead and because the referee should have made that call and said, "Hey, this is the rule, but this is where you blame CAF for putting in referees that don't know the rules." So the referee was like, "Just keep convincing them to let's just play." And again, I'm sure broadcasters were like, "This game has to finish," because that's revenue loss. Like this game has to finish. So they went through all of that, finished all of that, but you still have to go back to the rule book. And the rule book in Article 82 and 84 says if you abandon the game for any reason whatsoever and you walk out of the pitch, it simply means that the other team is going to be awarded the game 3-0, but they have to go through the whole appeals board thing. So yeah.
I think it'll go to CAS and get over.
Yeah, I think they'll go there, but at least they have to follow their own rules. That's the rule book, so it is what it is.
No Premier League club dominated England close to Real Madrid or Barcelona. Bring the most viewers. By Terry's argument, sorry, let me just please finish. By Terry's argument, women's football should get unearned money from men's football. Well, I haven't said that it's necessarily right in the sense of I don't believe in spending caps where Man United can only spend the same as Luton. So I'm not advocating for that. Comparing the men and women's games is completely different because although there are smaller clubs than Man United and Chelsea and Liverpool in the Premier League, we're all playing in the same competition. And the TV money isn't completely spread evenly. The more games you have on TV and the higher up in the league you finish, there's an increasement in the pay that you get. So it isn't it isn't just divided by 20 and handed out. So you're wrong about that again, my friend. In your continual insults, you get things completely asked about tit. But the reason no one dominates like Real Madrid and Barcelona is because there is a more even split of the money. And it isn't just two teams that are the richest that stay the richest and can move forward. Other nations don't have the same TV deal split you do, but like in Germany, barring the Leipzig model, you can't get owners like Roman Abramovich to buy their football club. So nobody can kind of come along and overtake in that way. So look, each league to their own. What I would say in terms of getting it right, the one league that is continually growing is the Premier League. So that model in itself is very, very good. But unlike yourself, my friend, you spent a lot of money insulting me tonight, so I will respect it. I'm not sitting here attacking your league and slagging it off. All you're doing is attacking and slagging off mine. That's entirely up to you. But I just look at life through this very simple lens. I don't need to buy a Pavarotti album to know that he's a very good opera singer. I don't need to like opera to know that he was amazing at it, because his record sales, his critical acclaim, his awards, and the ticket sales he had prove he's very good at what he does. So you can hate the Premier League, you can subjectively despise it, but objectively speaking, you are just wrong. The same as anybody that says subjectively the league is crap, they're objectively wrong. But us grown-ups are just going to get back into the real world now and be a little bit more respectful. So big up.
I would say 13 out of the first 20 is pretty dominant.
The Premier League. Yeah. Man United.
And I will say this:
City recently was on the cusp.
I do believe the quality in the Premier League's gone down, but so has everyone else in Europe's gone down as well. It still means that we're better. It just means that the quality might have gone down.
That's a whole other can of fish. Because I also think in professional sports in general, even in the NBA and the NFL, the talent isn't what it was a few years ago.
Even boxing.
I think it's just modern.
Boxing,
I think it's just modern sports medicine and sports science and how we're bringing around. We're taking care of more people,
at the moment.
Pampering them a little
low.
bit.
I mean, decode just needs to decode some common sense and just actually listen to understand.
Also said here, like, I watch the Terrace all the time, Terry. What are you waffling about? I didn't say, you know, if you know you watch it goes, you always slag off Real Madrid and Barcelona and La Liga. Well, I don't. Saying I prefer the Premier League isn't slagging you off. That's how your brain works. So you're the kind of person where someone says, Terry, do you prefer Deep Impact or Armageddon? Armageddon. Why are you saying Deep Impact's rubbish? That's just not how I operate. I don't think it's rubbish. Never said it's rubbish. I don't think I've ever said it's rubbish. Maybe I've had a dig here and there and had a bit of a laugh and a joke. But again, you've got to learn how to decipher between a serious conversation and an off-the-cuff joke. If you're taking an off-the-cuff joke, like I took the mick out of my auntie earlier on today, that doesn't mean I don't love her in real life. It's called a joke. When you banter your mates, you don't really dislike them. You're bantering them. So come on now, my friend.
Like I hate to tell Silver Surfer that Chelsea is such a crap club, man. You know,
this is the maddest bit, right? This is the maddest bit. Even if you think La Liga is better, the Premier League is definitely the second best league. If you think the Premier League's better, La Liga is definitely the second best league. That's why the argument, I always find it so weird. They're the best two, and I think they're both better than all the other leagues, no matter what anybody says. And it's just this weird pissing contest over two really good leagues. And
you know what's really funny though, Terry? Like, I banter all of our rival clubs all the time, but when someone like Will comes in here, I'm ready to defend Chelsea. I'm ready to defend City. I'm ready to defend Liverpool. You guys, like, it's funny. Like, it's like we're all in it together. We're a brotherhood.
I just want to know where he got a pair of Brett the Hitman Hart glasses from.
Yeah, they were cool. They were cool. Look, boys, I want to thank you all for coming on the show tonight. It's been a very long stream, 2 hours and 12 minutes. I didn't expect to be live for this long. We're back tomorrow. Fan Channel review in the morning, Killing the Game edition. I'll be live with Hussam and Mo in the afternoon as well, around 2:30, plus more reactions to Champions League football tomorrow night as well. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is going to redirect you somewhere. You're going to be going to Judge Mo's channel. He's live right now, so go and support my friend over there. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we're going to see you all soon. Peace.